Chapter 47-26. Countless people were shocked. Mansion Master? Was this really the Purple Mansion's Mansion Master? It was unbelievable. They had always known that the Purple Mansion had a Mansion Master, but he was very mysterious. Very few people had seen him before. Now they finally saw him. Move quickly. Wutong and the other elders also roared and started to move. The Purple Mansion displayed their strength and foundation to resist the terrifying black clouds. At the same time, formation experts started to repair the seal. Of course, some people died in the process. However, the Mansion Master was very powerful. Everyone believed that the seal would be completed. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others left the Purple Mansion and arrived outside the mountain gate. They looked at the rolling black clouds in front of them, and the terrifying aura overflowed. They heaved a sigh of relief. It was too dangerous. If they had come out later, they would have died inside. Let's go. Lin Xian and the others returned to the Pill Cauldron Gate. The deity Dao Union's people also disappeared. When the remote antiquity clans and the peerless sects tried to find him, they were too late. Damn it. They all gritted their teeth and roared. However, they quickly brought their people back. There was also a huge battle. Someone had sneak attacked the Tranquil Cloud Gate. A world-shaking battle unfolded. Previously, the Tranquil Cloud Gate had exchanged with the Purple Mansion and obtained the 9 Nether Scripture. They did not leave after that. Now that they had returned empty-handed, they naturally set their sights on the 9 Nether Gate. The Tranquil Cloud Gate's people roared. Damn it, who dared to attack them? The Dark Church's hierarch went deeper and attacked with his sacred weapon. However, the other party also brought a sacred weapon. There was even more than one. In the end, he left with serious injuries. More than 10 elders of the Tranquil Cloud Gate died. The other sacred kings died as well. There were more than 100 of them. However, in the end, they still took the 9 Nether Scripture and fled back to the sect. They activated the Supreme Formation. At the same time, a roar rang out. Damn it, just you wait. I will definitely take revenge. In the void, countless people flickered. The leading woman sighed. It was useless. He had escaped. Let's go. Countless storms gathered around her and disappeared in an instant. The other figure also sighed, shook his head, and left. If there were others here, they would have noticed that it was the Wind Clan's clan leader and the Holy Heavens Clan's hierarch. The two of them worked together to heavily injure Sect Master Serene Cloud. However, in the end, they were unable to kill him, nor did they obtain the 9 Nether Scripture. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others returned to the Pill Cauldron School and began to recuperate. This time, they had also suffered losses. The Hall of Eternal Life, Fire God Palace, Wuxia family, and other sects and families had lost some elders and experts. This caused them great heartache. But when they thought of what would happen next, they felt excited. This was because Lin Xian had promised to help them retrieve something from Mount Eternal. Those grand elders personally came to invite Lin Xian, saying that they would give him a month to recover. A month later, those elders came again. Lin Xian knew that he couldn't refuse, so he nodded. All right, I'll make a trip to Mount Eternal. Actually, Lin Xian wasn't injured at all. He had the heaven-devouring jar protecting him, so he couldn't be hurt at all. However, he had consumed a lot of energy, so he spent a few days to recover. The rest of the time, he was with Shen Jingqiu. After all, the two of them hadn't seen each other for a long time. The two of them were in a quiet courtyard, and no one disturbed them. On this day, Lin Xian said, Qiu, come with me to Mount Eternal. We'll come back after we retrieve their things. However, Shen Jingqiu stood up and said, Brother Lin Xian, I still have some things to do. I'll come find you when the time comes. Alright, then you have to be careful. Lin Xian also knew that everyone had their own opportunities. Although the two of them were separated more than they were together, their hearts wouldn't change. The next day, Shen Jingqiu left alone. Lin Xian also took a deep breath and returned to Mount Eternal with the Hall of Eternal Life, Gu family, Fire God Palace, and other sections. After returning, Lin Xian still stayed in the Hall of Eternal Life. He said to the people of the 3 sects, What do you want to retrieve? With my current strength, I can only retrieve 5 items. The 3 sects will each take 1 item. The remaining 2 items will be divided among the elders of the other sects and families. I'll give you 3 days to think carefully about what you want. Then give it to me. Remember, I can only stay in a certain area of Mount Eternal. If it's too inside, I can't get in. Young man, don't worry. We know this. The Grand Elders of the Hall of Eternal Life were excited. They had already thought of what they wanted. The Fire God Palace and Gu family were the same. As for the other families and sects, they didn't care what they wanted as long as they could get some treasures from Mount Eternal. This was the best outcome for them. Therefore, 3 days later, these people sent over a jade scroll. Lin Xian finished reading the information inside and nodded. Let's go. They rose into the air and flew towards Mount Eternal. Mount Eternal was mysterious and forbidden. No one dared to enter. The other experts of the great sage were waiting outside. They looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian turned around and walked forward. He took out the heaven-devouring jar and suspended it above his head, emitting an endless devouring aura. Then he stepped into Mount Eternal. Everyone began to feel nervous. Lin Xian could feel a terrifying aura surging toward him the moment he stepped onto the ground. Fortunately, the heaven-devouring jar devoured the aura. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. The sky-devouring jar was equivalent to half an extreme weapon, even though he was unable to display its true power. Although he couldn't display his full power, it seemed to be able to restrain this indestructible power. Just like that, Lin Xian walked inside. He began to look for the immortal medicine that those people needed. The process was very difficult and slow. After all, with Lin Xian's strength, he had to use the heaven-devouring jar with all his strength to walk carefully. A month later, he found the spiritual medicine that the Hall of Eternal Life needed. Another month later, he found what the other 2 sects needed. At this time he stopped and began to rest. He was very tired after 3 months of continuous consumption. Lin Xian found a mountain and began to cultivate cross-legged. Fortunately, these sects and families had given him a large number of natural treasures to enter this place. Lin Xian took them out and began to recover. At the same time he looked around. He did not know how these forbidden places were formed. Why were they so terrifying? Lin Xian saw a mountain peak in the distance. It was not very tall, but it was majestic and exuded a mysterious aura. He decided to go up and take a look. However, when he climbed up the mountain, he found that the aura on the mountain was even more terrifying. It took him almost a month to reach the mountain peak. When he got there, he was already out of strength. However, there was a stone tablet on the mountain peak with many runes carved on it. Lin Xian was shocked. He took a look and found that it was a cultivation technique. It was the immortality technique. Lin Xian was stunned. He found that the immortality technique was very similar to the art of longevity. However, the art of longevity was more powerful. Chapter 47:27. Lin Xian was preparing to train. This way, he would be able to become even stronger. The moment he began to cultivate, the entire mountain changed. An even more terrifying aura surged towards him. It was as if it wanted to tear him apart. Lin Xian felt his scalp go numb. He gritted his teeth and comprehended for a day. Then he left. Not long after he left, the entire mountain was enveloped by a terrifying aura and disappeared. Lin Xian was also chased by the storm. He realized that the heaven-devouring jar was shaking violently. Lin Xian felt that many cracks had appeared on his body. Not good. It seemed that he had committed some taboo. He quickly took out the heaven-devouring jar and used all his strength to protect it. The great dragon sword soul surrounded his body and formed a battle armor. It released a terrifying dragon-shaped aura to help destroy the surrounding power. In the end, he escaped into the ancient bronze coffin. To hide from the storm, the terrifying power hit the ancient bronze coffin and made an earth-shattering sound. The entire ancient bronze coffin shook violently. Lin Xian was shocked. This power was too terrifying. Could it be that the ancient bronze coffin couldn't withstand it? Fortunately, although the ancient bronze coffin shook violently, it still withstood it. 10 days passed like this. The people waiting outside were also shocked. They suddenly saw a terrifying eternal storm coming from Mount Eternal. It seemed to be able to tear everything apart. Outside, they felt their hair stand on end. They quickly retreated. At the same time, they were worried that Immortal would be fine. They didn't know. They quickly retreated. After 10 days, the storm gradually subsided. These people's eyes were red. They wanted to investigate, but they didn't dare to go forward. They could only wait anxiously. 10 days later, Lin Xian walked out. He heaved a sigh of relief. The terrifying storm had disappeared. At the same time, Lin Xian realized that the 9 true dragons were also shaking violently. They rose into the air, broke through the void with the ancient bronze coffin, and left again. Were they leaving? Lin Xian quickly retreated. He was shocked. He didn't know where the true dragons were going with the ancient bronze coffin this time. The Grand Elder of the Hall of Eternal Life, as well as the people from the Fire God Palace and the Gu family, naturally saw this scene as well. Immediately, they knelt on the ground and kowtowed. At the same time, someone asked if Immortal was going to leave. That was very likely. Could it be that something had happened inside? They did not know. There were even some who wanted to follow the 9-headed dragon, but they were left behind in an instant. That aura made it so that not even the great sage could get close. Inside Mount Eternal, Lin Xian also took a deep breath. It seemed that he had to be careful in the future. Otherwise, if he were to encounter that kind of black storm again, he would not be able to avoid it. Next up, Lin Xian cultivated the longevity undying art, while collecting the remaining 2 spiritual herbs. Finally, after half a year, he succeeded and prepared to leave. The people outside had been waiting bitterly for nearly a year. Immortal had yet to come out after entering. There was no news at all. In particular, the appearance of the 9 dragons pulling the coffin and the inextinguishable storm made them extremely worried. Everyone thought that Lin Xian might have fallen or left. However, on this day, a figure walked out of Mount Eternal and made everyone's eyes light up. It was Immortal. Hualinger exclaimed. Su Lai, Gu Li, and the others also ran over and shouted, "Elder, it's Immortal!" Immortal came out. That's great. The Grand Elders of the Longevity Hall, Fire God Palace, and Gu family also rushed over and asked, "How is it, Immortal?" Lin Xian said, "I found all the things you want." He threw a storage ring outside while he was still inside Mount Eternal. After all, he also had to be on guard against these people. Who knew if these people had seen through his identity? After the Grand Elder of the Longevity Hall took the storage ring and checked it, 5 spiritual herbs flew out. That's great. It's real. He reached out his palm and grabbed one of them. In addition, the Fire God Palace and Gu family also grabbed the other 2. The remaining 2 were for the other clans and sections. As for how they would be divided, it was none of Lin Xian's business. The Grand Elders of the Longevity Hall were pleasantly surprised. They said, "Immortal, please come back with me. We will definitely treat you well." If such a person could stay in the sect for the rest of his life, it would be an unparalleled treasure for them. However, Lin Xian shook his head. "No, Mount Eternal is still useful to me. I'm going to cultivate here for a while." Everyone was reluctant to let Lin Xian leave. However, Lin Xian insisted. In the end, everyone could only nod helplessly. The Grand Elder said, "Immortal, if you need any help in the future, just tell us. We'll do our best." The others also nodded. Lin Xian said with a smile, "I won't be polite when I need you." After saying that, he turned and walked inside. Soon his figure disappeared. Looking at this scene, some people's eyes flickered. One person said, "Is he really immortal?" When this was said, Hualinger, Su Lai, and the others were shocked. However, another great sage said, "Is it important to us whether he's immortal or not? If he can enter Mount Eternal and help us get what we want, then he's immortal." Obviously, these people had suspected Lin Xian. However, since Lin Xian could enter Mount Eternal, both sides seemed to have reached some kind of tacit agreement. They didn't say anything and wouldn't say anything. The Grand Elder of the Longevity Hall looked at Su Lai and the others and said, "It doesn't matter if he's immortal or not. If you meet him in the future, you have to be as respectful as you are to me. If you dare to challenge him, don't blame me for slapping you to death." "Yes, we know." Su Lai and the others quickly responded. The experts of the other sects also warned their juniors. Then, they soared into the sky and left this place. Lin Xian entered Mount Eternal, and didn't dare to go too far. He sat down cross-legged in a place. He used the heaven-devouring jar, and the great dragon sword to protect himself. Then he began to cultivate the longevity indestructible technique. Lin Xian had been cultivating the longevity secret art. The longevity secret art and the longevity indestructible technique were very similar. Therefore, Lin Xian's cultivation of the longevity indestructible technique was very fast. However, in addition to the powerful vitality, there was an additional kind of indestructible power. This kind of power was also what Lin Xian wanted to obtain at the moment. Moreover, the longevity indestructible technique could be cultivated to a certain extent and form a special divine ability. For example, it could be condensed into the longevity battle armor and the eternal bell. Lin Xian's strength was also steadily increasing. A year later, he left Mount Eternal and flew into the distance. A year's time was very short for these experts. It passed in the blink of an eye. Taiqing Ancient City. In this year, there had been a huge change. A year ago, the Purple Mansion had been attacked by many experts and the Heavenly Court and had suffered heavy losses. Later, the power of the seal was broken and they almost had to close the mountain gate again. In the end, they still sealed the seal. Chapter 47-28. Other than the Z Mansion, there was another sect that was extremely unlucky. That was the Serene Cloud sect. The Serene Cloud sect had also suffered heavy losses this time. Even their sect leader was heavily injured. It was said that he was in a life-and-death seclusion. The other sects had more or less lost their geniuses and elders. However, the Serene Cloud sect and the Z Mansion were in a much better situation. In a year, the storm had weakened a lot. However, there were still people talking about the battle a year ago. Many people were even talking about Lin Xian and the mysterious Heavenly Court. Other than that, there was also the Z Mansion's foundation. Geniuses from thousands of years ago and experts from tens of thousands of years ago had all come out. They really did not know what the Z Mansion was planning. Lin Xian came to the outside of Taiqing Ancient City. His eyes flickered. He had returned this time. He was preparing to return to the Pill Cauldron sect. However, at this moment he frowned. He felt that someone was watching him. His body flashed. He wanted to leave. However, the void was cut and the space tunnel was broken. A figure stopped him. Su Qing quickly retreated. He activated the void beast and retreated far away. Damn it! Someone was waiting for him in Taiqing Ancient City. Could it be that they were here to kill him? The void beast tore open the void with him and escaped far away. However, in the next moment, he felt that he had not shaken off the other party. A huge barrier formed around him. It seemed to have sealed everything. Even teleportation could not be used. At the same time, a laugh sounded in his ear. You don't have to leave. Let's chat. Lin Xian stopped. His face was cold. A woman in a phoenix robe walked out in front of him. She had a smile on her face, but her eyes were cold. She had a supreme aura, as if she was a god of the 9 heavens. After seeing her, Lin Xian's face turned ugly. He could fight against others, but he could not because she was the leader of the Wind Clan. Senior, as the leader of a clan of the ancients, you have such a high status. You personally attacked me, a junior. You think too highly of me. Young Master Lin, you are too humble. Although I am the leader of a clan, I do not dare to look down on you. A year ago, you led so many saints to attack the Z Mansion. Your strength almost surpassed our clan of the ancients. Lin Xian frowned. He asked, Senior, why are you looking for me? As he said that, he was on guard. If she really wanted to suppress him, he had to escape. Sir, don't worry, I just want to invite you to the Wind Clan as a guest. When you first came to my Wind Clan, we didn't treat you well. This time, we have to make it up to you. Young Master, please do not reject us. Visit? She was so kind? Lin Xian sneered in his heart. He said, Senior Feng was the leader of a clan, and had a myriad of affairs to attend to every day. He should have a lot of things to deal with. I won't disturb Senior anymore. Furthermore, I have my own matters to attend to, so I won't be going to your clan. Who knew what they were of the ancients? It seems like young Master Lin is still angry with us. If you feel that we didn't treat you well, Then why are you still angry? Don't worry, I'll make it up to you this time. After saying that, the aura of the Wind Clan leader became even more terrifying. Lin Xian felt as if his bones were about to crack under the pressure. Damn it, the other party was threatening him. He could imagine that if he refused again, the other party would probably use some tricks. Thinking of this, he sighed. He was not a match for such a powerful clan leader. Forget it, the other party did not directly attack him, which meant that there was some room to maneuver. Let's see what this guy wanted to do first. So in the end, he had no choice but to nod and agree. Very good. Young Master's decision was very smart. The clan leader of the Wind Clan smiled. Then he brought Lin Xian back to Taiching Ancient City. Wind Clan. Divine islands flew in the sky. It was a strange scene, which was the characteristic of the Wind Clan. The clan leader of the Wind Clan brought Lin Xian to a divine island. After Lin Xian came down, he attracted the attention of countless people. It was this kid. Many people were stunned, and some of their faces darkened. What was going on? Did this kid come to their place and behave atrociously? Many people walked over. However, at this moment, a woman descended from the sky and shouted coldly, "Don't be rude. Young Master Lin is an important guest that I invited." Clan leader. Countless people were shocked and quickly bowed. Seeing the clan leader, they were shocked. This guy was actually invited by the clan leader. It was really unbelievable. Young Master Lin, please rest here first. The clan leader of the Wind Clan looked around and said, "Receive young Master Lin well. If you neglect him, don't blame me for punishing you with the clan rules." The surrounding people were terrified and hurriedly nodded. The clan leader was relieved. The clan leader of the Wind Clan left and went to another divine island. He quickly discussed with some elders. On the other side, Lin Xian was invited to a palace. The young disciples around him were very careful. They were afraid of offending him. Lin Xian was puzzled. What were these people of the Wind Clan planning? He really did not know. 2 days later, a few elders came here. They looked at Lin Xian and nodded. A young genius. Although he was not a genius disciple of a big family or sect, his talent and strength were not weak at all. The nine-yang divine body was comparable to the ancient desolate body. This little friend was also the descendant of the great dragon. His attack power was unparalleled. The elders looked at Lin Xian and nodded. Lin Xian felt his hair stand on end. These old guys were not going to fight, were they? Young Master, you're not young anymore. I wonder if you can get married? Our Wind Clan is a clan of the ancients. Our bloodline is special. There are many talented girls in our clan. I wonder if young Master is interested? Damn. The Wind Clan was actually planning this? Lin Xian was shocked. Then he said, "There's no need to trouble you seniors. I can handle this myself." It seemed that young Master Lin had harmed Xiao. Don't worry. The talented girls of our Wind Clan will definitely be able to enter young Master's eyes. After speaking, she waved her hand and 2 women walked in. These 2 women were extremely beautiful, and their auras were also very strong. They were indeed proud daughters of the heavens. After the 2 of them came in, the elders laughed and asked if young Master was satisfied. Although they were laughing, their words seemed to be in order. There was no room for negotiation. Lin Xian's face darkened. Even if these people wanted to form a marriage alliance, they were not taking him seriously. Did they really think that he was someone who could be ordered and controlled? Thinking of this, Lin Xian's face darkened and said coldly, "I understand what you mean. The Wind Clan wants to form a marriage alliance with me. I'm not someone who can enter young Master's eyes. Although the 2 fairies are not bad, I haven't seen them yet." Chapter 47-29. Hearing that Lin Xian didn't want them, the 2 proud daughters' faces turned ugly. They gritted their teeth and looked at Lin Xian with killing intent in their eyes. Lin Xian ignored them and looked at the elders instead. Those elders were also hesitant. Lin Xian smiled. Why? Not willing? It seems that the Wind Clan is not sincere. If that's the case, then I'm leaving. Lin Xian turned the tables. He wanted to see what these people would do. The elders discussed and said, "We have to discuss this matter. Young Master, please stay here for a few days." After saying that, The elders left with the two heaven's favored daughters. Lin Xian looked at the backs of these people and sneered. These people were plotting against him. However, he wouldn't be obedient. Therefore, not long after these elders left, Lin Xian left to tour the island. Lin Xian saw a girl and said, "Hey, lead the way. I want to see Phoenix." Yes. That girl was also a disciple of the Wind Clan. When she saw Lin Xian, a trace of fear appeared in her eyes. Although the other party's tone made her angry, she didn't dare to resist. Previously, it was the clan leader who personally ordered that she should treat him with respect. Otherwise, she would be punished according to the clan rules. The girl quickly led the way in front. Lin Xian followed behind. They flew across several islands and finally stopped at a huge island. The power of heaven and earth here was very rich. It was obviously a treasured place for cultivation. There were also many young geniuses coming and going. When those people saw Lin Xian, their expressions changed. What is this kid doing here? Lin Xian looked at the people around him and said, "Where is Phoenix?" Seeing that those people didn't answer, Lin Xian looked at the girl again and said, "Continue to lead the way." That girl led Lin Xian forward. There was a continuous mountain range in front of them. There were caves in the mountain range. She stopped and said, "Sister Phoenix is inside." After saying that, she quickly ran away. "Is she inside?" Lin Xian looked at the cave in front of him and shouted, "Phoenix, come out." His voice was like thunder that spread in all directions. Suddenly, the surrounding array flickered and kept shaking. Even the void itself was torn apart. The genius disciples of the God Island changed their expressions. "Damn kid. What are you doing? Feng Huang is cultivating. Do you want her to go berserk?" Lin Xian didn't pay attention to the people around him and continued to shout. His voice finally reached the inside of the cave residence. Inside the cave, Feng Huang opened her eyes and frowned. In the next moment, she flew out and shouted coldly, "Who dares to disturb my cultivation?" She exuded a terrifying power of wind, which transformed into a wind sword and pierced through the 9 heavens. When she saw Lin Xian, she furrowed her brows even more. "It's you?" She was too shocked. Was this guy attacking their Wind Clan? Did he come to behave? Previously, she had been in seclusion and did not know that Lin Xian had been brought back by the Wind Clan leader. "You finally came out." Lin Xian walked over with a smile and took her into his arms. This scene stunned the surrounding disciples of the Wind Clan. What did this guy do? Feng Huang was a goddess in their eyes. She was the goddess they dreamed of, but they never dared to cross the line. It seemed that no one could enter Feng Huang's eyes. But now, this kid dared to be rude to their goddess. They couldn't stand it. Feng Huang was also stunned. She didn't expect Lin Xian to be so bold. She roared crazily and a terrifying power came from her body. It formed a storm and shook off Lin Xian's arms. Then, she flew into the distance. She came to the sky and kept roaring. "Damn kid, I'm going to kill you." "Kill me?" Lin Xian laughed. "Are you going to kill your husband? It wouldn't be good if this spread out." Feng Huang was so angry that she vomited blood. "Whose husband are you? Damn kid, if you dare to talk nonsense again, I'll kill you." The surrounding people also roared. "Damn it, are you challenging the Wind Clan? Kid, don't think that you can be arrogant here. The Wind Clan is not a place where you can behave atrociously." The surrounding people went crazy and walked over as well. It seemed that they wanted to fight. However, no one dared to act rashly. Lin Xian looked at them and sneered. "Why? Do you want to fight me? Do you want to be punished by the sect rules? Damn it." The surrounding people vomited blood and couldn't help but take a few steps back. Feng Huang was also surprised when she saw this. How could it be? When did the disciples of the Wind Clan become so timid? Lin Xian looked at Feng Huang in the sky and waved with a smile. "Let's go. Let's go inside the cave." "Damn it, you still dare to talk." Feng Huang roared and slashed at Lin Xian. The agile blade turned into a terrifying blade light and came down from the sky. However, Lin Xian easily dodged it. "I can't tell that your strength has improved during this period of time. However, it's still far from enough. Do you want me to teach you how to cultivate?" "Damn it." Wind Phoenix looked around and said, "All of you attack and kill him." The surrounding people hesitated. Lin Xian smiled and said, "Don't make things difficult for them. I was brought back by your clan leader. Your clan leader gave an order to treat me the same as you treat her. Do you think these people will dare to fight me? That's impossible. Is the clan leader of the Wind Clan crazy? How can he be so good to this kid?" Lin Xian smiled and said, "Why is it impossible? Moreover, your clan leader personally came to propose marriage to me. I came to look for you because I saw their sincere attitude. Otherwise, do you think you can enter my eyes?" Lin Xian said with a look of disdain. Feng Huang almost fainted when she heard this. Damn it, he doesn't like her. What kind of joke is this? The surrounding people were also gnashing their teeth. However, they seemed to have heard the news. I don't believe it. What nonsense. Feng Huang gritted her teeth and said, "I'll kill you myself today. I'll see if the clan leader will attack me." After saying that, she slapped at Lin Xian. God of Wind Seal. A terrifying palm came down from the sky with a terrifying power of wind. "It's useless. You can't beat me." Lin Xian stretched out his hand, and a huge golden palm came down from the sky like the sun god. He grabbed the storm in the sky and suppressed it. Damn it. Feng Huang grabbed one of Feng Huang's hands and she couldn't resist at all. She was really shocked. She didn't hold back in the attack just now. She thought that even if she couldn't beat Lin Xian, they would be evenly matched. Who would have thought that she would be suppressed so easily? Is the gap really that big? Although she knew that Lin Xian was strong, her strength had improved by leaps and bounds in the past year. Damn it. Great Wilderness Hunter Hand. Chapter 4730. How terrifying. Phoenix was indeed the top genius of the Wind Clan. She had cultivated the great wind-splitting sky hand to such a level in just over a year. She had far surpassed them. The surrounding Wind Clan members were all amazed when they saw this scene. However, Lin Xian smiled and said, "You haven't mastered it yet. Let me show you what the true great desolate sky-splitting hand is." He also formed a seal with one hand. With a wave of his hand, an even more terrifying crack flew out. This power was even more terrifying than Phoenix's, so she was suppressed again. Damn it, how could it be like this? Phoenix gritted her teeth in disbelief. The others were also shocked. Did the other party's talent really surpass their family's #1 genius? Lin Xian said, "You're not bad, but compared to Feng Xiaoqing from 5,000 years ago, you're still a little lacking. Even Feng Xiaoqing couldn't beat me, let alone you." Phoenix gritted her teeth. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He firmly suppressed the other party. At the same time, he also understood why the Wind Clan wanted to form a marriage alliance with him. Because the Wind Clan's current situation wasn't too good. The #1 genius, Phoenix, used to be the top, but now it seemed that she was a little behind. After all, the other party didn't have an ancient body. Compared to Yi Wudao and Guang Ming, they were a little lacking. In addition, his recent rise and a few top geniuses from thousands of years ago came out of the Purple Mansion, which made the Wind Clan feel even more pressured. In fact, he guessed right. The Wind Clan was very anxious, so they looked for him. Another reason was that the Wind Clan members saw that Lin Xian had too many treasures on him. At this moment, an angry shout came from afar. "Stop!" The void split open, and an elder came nearby. A powerful aura enveloped Lin Xian. He didn't want to hurt Phoenix. The terrifying power of the wind turned into a storm and swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. His figure flickered and disappeared in an instant, appearing in another direction. "What, are you going to attack me?" Young Master Lin misunderstood. "We didn't mean that. But why are you attacking Phoenix?" The other elders rushed over to smooth things over. Lin Xian said, "Don't you want to form a marriage alliance? I'm here to form a marriage alliance with Phoenix." "Elder Zhang, what is the meaning of this? Was what this kid said true?" Phoenix gritted her teeth. She would never agree to it. "We are still discussing this matter. Isn't young Master Lin being too anxious?" Then they looked at Phoenix and said, "Come with us." After that, they left with Phoenix. An elder personally looked at Lin Xian and said, "Young Master Lin, I hope you can cultivate well and not have such a misunderstanding again." There was a hint of urgency in his eyes. After that, he personally escorted Lin Xian back to his residence. Then he ordered many guards to protect Lin Xian's safety. In reality, he was keeping an eye on Lin Xian so that he wouldn't go out again. On the other side, Feng Huang came to a palace and said, "Clan leader, do you want me to marry?" "I disagree." Phoenix gritted her teeth and said, "Even if it's a marriage alliance, it can't be with that brat." The patriarch of the Feng clan sighed. "Don't worry, Feng, or won't be yours. You will be the next patriarch." Although Lin Xian is powerful and talented, and has many trump cards, he is still a Purple Mansion disciple. He is recognized as a person of the immortal graveyard. He has no future. We want to rope him in because of his treasures. We don't really want him to join our clan. Don't worry about this. Hearing this, Phoenix finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Clan leader, what should we do next?" An elder asked. That kid didn't seem to agree so easily. Today he looked for Phoenix and seemed to want to turn the tables. Another elder snorted. "If he doesn't agree, it's not up to him. This is our Feng clan, we have the final say. Since he doesn't want to, don't blame us for being rude. Clan leader, there is no need to be polite with him. Just search his soul. Yes, we don't want his life. We just want his cultivation method. Even if we get it, we won't kill him. Will the heavenly court really be our enemy? At most, we will stand on the side of the Purple Mansion disciple and see what the heavenly court can do to us." At this time, the people of the Feng clan finally stopped hiding. Their eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. The clan leader of the Feng clan thought about it and then nodded. "Okay, let's do it. But remember, we only need to get the inheritance of the divine body of Nine Yang. We can't kill him. As for injuries, it's inevitable." The clan leader of the Feng clan gave the bottom line, not to kill Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian probably wouldn't end well. The other elders took a deep breath. Even Phoenix's eyes were burning. The divine body of Nine Yang was not weaker than the sacred body of the ancients. If they could cultivate it, it would be equivalent to the Feng clan having another body of the ancients. There might even be more than one. They could create many kinds of bodies of the ancients. In that way, the Feng clan would be extremely powerful. These people discussed again. At the same time, they sealed the news and even activated a large array in the entire Feng clan. At this time, only people could enter and not leave. The news must not be spread. Otherwise, there would be big trouble. Lin Xian sat in the mansion, surrounded by many guards. He didn't go out again. Instead, he quietly cultivated the art of immortality. At this moment, he was already familiar with it. When he cast the incantation, the art of immortality appeared on his body, giving him a strong vitality. Now that he had recovered, his speed was more than twice as fast as before. On this day, he opened his eyes because he could feel that someone was coming, and it was a powerful elder. Sure enough, it didn't take long for several figures to descend from the sky into his courtyard. Then they walked in with smiles. "Mr. Lin, how have you been living recently?" "Not bad," Lin Xian said faintly. Then he looked ahead and asked, "Have you thought about it? Do you want to marry Phoenix to me?" The elders smiled and said, "We are still discussing this, but Phoenix might be about to break through soon. We need to make a few furnaces of pills for her. Since you like her so much, why don't you contribute? You want me to make pills?" Lin Xian shook his head. "I don't know how to. Why would we bother you to make pills? Leave this kind of thing to us. However, you need to provide some powerful sacred blood. This way, the pills could be improved. Thinking about it, it would be easier for Phoenix to break through." One of the elders took out a gourd from his storage ring and said, "Mr. Lin, please." Lin Xian was stunned. Then his face darkened. These elders wanted his sacred blood. Were they targeting him? What kind of joke was this? He said coldly, "I am just a small sacred king. My blood is not valuable." Chapter 47:31. Young master, you don't have to be humble. You have a divine body, not an ancient body. Your God's blood is definitely the best spirit medicine. An elder stretched out his hand, forming a storm that covered the sky. It turned into chains and enveloped Lin Xian. Another elder formed a wind blade and slashed towards Lin Xian's arm. Clang! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The wind blade was shattered, but Lin Xian's arm was not damaged. The elders nodded their heads in satisfaction. They looked at Lin Xian, as if they were looking at a supreme treasure. As expected of the 9-yang divine body, its defense was really strong. Lin Xian was furious. What were these guys trying to do? Did they really think that he would be trampled on? He shouted coldly and activated his divine body, shattering the storm chains. At the same time, he slapped out with his palm. Those elders quickly dodged, but they did not leave. Instead, their eyes burst out with a shocking light. Young master, why don't you sacrifice yourself to help us? Why, it seems that you've finally revealed your true faces. Since that's the case, there's nothing to say. Lin Xian roared and charged over. The dragon elephant finger pointed out, and a terrifying power shattered the void in front of him. Although these elders were peak saint kings, they did not dare to fight alone. Together, they roared. Lin Xian opened the Taiji diagram and fought with them. At the same time, he took out the heaven-swallowing jar, and a terrifying aura rose and fell. Those elders quickly retreated with ugly expressions. Lin Xian soared into the sky and tore apart the 9 heavens, wanting to escape. The situation was too strange. Previously, although he felt the coldness in these people's eyes, they still treated him with respect. But now they had completely fallen out and did not care about his feelings at all. They wanted his life. Since that was the case, he would not stay here any longer. He would remember the Wind Clan. He would take revenge. He would let the Wind Clan know the consequences of trying to kill him. He soared into the sky and merged into the void, wanting to leave. However, at this moment another voice sounded. Since young master is here, don't be in a hurry to leave. Offer some of your divine blood to help the Wind Phoenix. As he spoke, a large hand descended. The terrifying aura of the great sage swept across the 9 heavens. The elders below sneered. It was their supreme elder who had made a move. This was the great sage. How could the other party possibly resist him? Lin Xian was forced back. His blood and chi roiled, and golden saint blood dripped down. The elders below hurriedly picked up the gourd to receive it. These were all precious treasures, and they couldn't be wasted. Lin Xian summoned his void beast, wanting to flee. However, he discovered that the Wind Clan had already activated a supreme grand formation. He had no way to escape. Another great sage descended and said, "You don't have to struggle, no one can get out." Lin Xian's expression turned ugly. He said coldly, "Are you really going to attack me?" Thinking back to the scene in the Purple Mansion, if you offend me, you will offend a large group of peerless sects and even the heavenly court. Can you bear the consequences? Young master, don't worry. We know that there are many experts behind you. We won't kill you. We just want to take a look at your inheritance. As he spoke, the great sage of the Wind Clan's eyes shone with a piercing cold light, piercing through Lin Xian. It seemed that he wanted to forcibly take Lin Xian's soul. Lin Xian felt a huge pressure on his soul. His glabella cracked. He roared and activated the heavenly secret divine eye to the extreme. The terrifying power of reincarnation condensed into a golden eye that appeared in the 9 heavens. Lin Xian retreated, his face pale. The great sage's soul was bounced back. He was shocked. What a terrifying soul. A mere Saint King stage cultivator is able to block my soul detection. It seems that you have a lot of inheritances. The heavens are really protecting my Wind Clan. With your inheritances, my Wind Clan will become several times stronger. The 2 great sage attacked. Lin Xian used the heaven-devouring jar and great dragon sword soul to resist, but he was also suppressed. These 2 things were treasures, but they required too much energy. With his strength, he could only protect himself. 2 more great sage descended. 4 great sage appeared. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He was sealed by the 4 of them. Lin Xian roared and took out 2 storage rings. He crushed them and summoned the great dragon sword soul. With a slash, he broke the seal. But at this time, the patriarch of the Wind Clan personally came and looked ahead. Suppress. She used the divine wind seal. Vast power surged. At the same time, she used the legendary saint weapon. The great dragon sword soul was suppressed and returned to Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian was suppressed and then taken away. In the pagoda of the Wind Clan, Lin Xian's body was covered with seals and shackles. The patriarch of the Wind Clan walked over and said coldly, "Young Master Lin, we don't want to kill you. We just want to get your 9 sons' inheritance. If you cooperate and hand it over, we will send you away safely." Lin Xian heard and laughed. "I don't want to go against you. Why don't you take out the Wind Clan's inheritance and let me see it?" The Supreme Elder snorted. "Is the inheritance of my Wind Clan something you can see just because you want to?" Lin Xian also stopped smiling and shouted coldly, "You know that the core inheritance can't be seen. Then why can you see the 9 sons' inheritance? Have you asked for my permission? Don't tell me you don't understand this." This kid was really sharp-tongued. The Supreme Elder of the Wind Clan was slapped in the face and his face turned ugly. He said, "Today you can't escape no matter what you say. If you don't cooperate, don't blame us for taking your soul. When you become an idiot, don't blame us." The 2 great sage walked over and wanted to pour their powerful soul power in. Lin Xian snorted coldly. "Go ahead. Before I came, I already formed a clone. If I suffer any losses, your Wind Clan will be annihilated." "What? There's a clone outside?" The 2 great sage stopped and looked at the patriarch of the Wind Clan. The patriarch of the Wind Clan frowned. Why didn't I notice? Are you lying to me?" Lin Xian sneered. "My clone isn't in Taiqing Ancient City. Besides, Taiqing Ancient City has a violet palace. Do you think I didn't make preparations?" He sneered, but he was nervous because he didn't have a clone. However, this way, the other party wouldn't dare to touch him. Is the patriarch real or fake? The great sage walked over to discuss. The patriarch of the Wind Clan also frowned. She really didn't know about the clone. She felt that it might be fake and didn't dare to take the risk. In the end, she said not to kill him and to think of another way. The elders discussed among themselves, and without transmitting their voices, they directly spoke their minds. Lin Xian's expression was ugly. The other party dared to say such words in front of him. It meant that they didn't plan on letting him out until they obtained the 9 sons' inheritance. Chapter 47-32. Lin Xian gritted his teeth. He had to make 2 plans. First, he had to spread the news and let the people outside save him. Second, he had to protect himself. After all, this was the territory of the Wind Clan. A clan of the ancients was too powerful. The great sage's numbers were not something he could fight against, not to mention that they had a legendary holy weapon. While Lin Xian was thinking of a countermeasure, the Wind Clan was also thinking of a countermeasure. The great sage discussed among themselves. Some said that they should just search his soul forcefully. It wouldn't kill him anyway. Another person said that they couldn't. His soul was very strong, and he had Yizai technique. If they really forced him into a dead end, he would probably resort to suicide. At that time, they wouldn't be able to get anything. If he really died here, the heavenly court wouldn't let them off. What should they do? Someone gritted his teeth. Another elder said, "Isn't it simple? He's in our hands now. We'll seal the news and no one will know. That way, we'll have time to prepare. I know of a formation that can not only search souls, but also form an absolute suppression. Even the soul of the great sage can't resist." There was also no need for him to think about destroying his own soul. If he used this kind of array formation to deal with his opponent, would he even have the strength to resist? Great. What are we waiting for? Hurry up and use it. The great sage said. "I saw this formation in an ancient book. It's troublesome to use and requires a lot of natural treasures. We have to plan it well. It'll take about a month or 2 to form it." He hurriedly sent people to prepare. Yi Wudao was still in the territory of the Wind Clan. However, he had been in seclusion before. When he came out, he felt that something was wrong. He secretly asked around and found out that the Wind Clan had captured Lin Xian. This made him frown. He went straight to the Wind Clan leader. He said, "Senior, I heard that you captured Lin Xian. Is there a misunderstanding? Lin Xian is my friend. Is he from the Wind Clan? Let him go for the sake of the Yi clan." "Nephew Yi, that's not right. I don't know where you got the news, But we don't dare to provoke young Master Lin. You must have heard wrongly. Why would clan leader Feng admit it? Leaf Daodinier opened his mouth to say something, but the Wind Chief cut him off. Young Sir Leaf, you should go back and cultivate. I still have some things to do, so I won't accompany you. With that he left, and the elders escorted Leaf Daodinier back to his residence. Furthermore, many guards had been placed around the cave residence, saying that they were there to ensure his safety. Leaf Daodinier frowned. Damn it, it seemed the information he'd been given was true. These people from the Wind clan already wanted to control him? His expression was cold. With his status, the Wind clan would not dare to attack him. However, he didn't dare to delay. He was afraid that Lin Xian would really be in danger if he waited too long. That night, he secretly left the Wind clan. Of course, he left a clone in his residence to prevent the people of the Wind clan from finding out about this. Wind clan. Although the spell formation had been activated, Leaf Daodinier was still the successor of the Yi clan, a grand emperor. He had many tricks up his sleeves and trump cards, and he had really taken them all out. After leaving, he rushed to the Pill Cauldron school and told them what had happened. When Dan Feng saw Leaf Daodinier and heard the news, she was also stunned. Damn it, had the Wind clan gone mad? Was the information true? Leaf Daodinier said. Are you sure? Our Yi clan is too far from the ancient city, so we can't make a move. I'll bring people over, said Dan Feng. She prepared to gather people. Leaf Daodinier said. Don't act rashly. The Wind clan is a primordial clan, on par with the Pill Cauldron school. Even if you go, you won't be able to get anything. You might not even be able to enter the Wind clan. When the time comes, they'll just move Lin Xian somewhere else, and you won't be able to find him. What should we do? Asked Dan Feng. Leaf Daodinier said that when they attacked the Purple Mansion, Lin Xian had brought many great sage experts with him. Furthermore, he had connections with the Heavenly Court. It would be best if they could gather these forces. That way, the Wind clan would not be able to resist. Dan Feng said, I understand. I'll bring people to Mount Eternal. Young Sir Leaf, please stay in Clearness Valley, and pay attention to the Wind clan's movements. The two of them then split up. Dan Feng led Fan Xing and a few elders of the Pill Cauldron school to move quickly. They even activated a super teleportation array. They arrived near Mount Eternal to look for the Longevity Hall, the Gu clan, and the Fire God Palace. When they arrived at the Longevity Hall and told them that Lin Xian had been imprisoned by the Wind clan, the people of the Longevity Hall were greatly shocked. What should they do? The elders hurriedly discussed. The Grand Elder of the Longevity Hall walked out and said coldly, they deserve to die for daring to suppress immortals. Follow me to suppress the Wind clan. Yes, that's right. Sulai also walked out and gathered a group of young geniuses. At the same time, they quickly contacted Hualing, and Guli, as well as the two clans and sections. Soon, the sects and clans near Mount Eternal were angered when they heard about it. They gathered again. This time, the lineup formed was not weak when they attacked the Purple Mansion last time. The group of people set off in a grandiose manner. Dan Feng heaved a sigh of relief when he saw this. Great, with such a powerful force, they would definitely be able to suppress the Wind clan. At that time he would like to see if the Wind clan would still dare to be arrogant. Leaf Daodinier was also preparing to contact the Heavenly Court. However, those people appeared and disappeared mysteriously. He wasn't sure if they were still in Taiqing Ancient City. He didn't find them. However, he did find another sect. One of them was the Hilsea Palace. Leaf Daodinier used his identity as the successor of the Yi clan to secretly inquire about Lin Xian's relationship with the Hilsea Palace. He went directly to the Hilsea Palace in Taiqing Gorge. He saw the people from the Hilsea Palace. It turned out to be the successor of the Yi clan. The people from the Hilsea Palace were very respectful. This was the successor of the number 1 clan, Leaf Daodinier. The Hilsea Palace said that Lin Xian had been suppressed. What? The people from the Hilsea Palace were shocked. Leaf Daodinier said that he needed their help. Before long, Elder Ruochen came over and looked at Leaf Daodinier. Please explain in detail, young Master Yi. Leaf Daodinier explained the situation. Elder Ruochen's expression darkened. The Wind Clan was going too far. The Hilsea Palace will definitely not ignore this because Lin Xian is also a member of the Hilsea Palace. Our palace lord happens to be here. When the time comes, we will go together. Many thanks. Leaf Daodinier cupped his fists. Then he continued to search for the forces related to Lin Xian. At the same time, Dan Feng and the others arrived outside Taiching Ancient City. Chapter 47-33. In a pagoda in the Wind Clan. Several elders stared at Lin Xian coldly. They had tried all sorts of methods, including threats and pleas, but to no avail. They had run out of patience. Kid, I think you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Although we can't kill you, we can torture you. One of the elders immediately threw a punch at Lin Xian. Lin Xian was sealed in chains and was beaten to the point of spitting out blood. That elder's arm was torn apart as well. There was nothing he could do about it, as Lin Xian's physique was just too strong. Trash. You want the 9 sons' inheritance? What a joke. You won't get it in your lifetime. Damn kid. How dare you challenge the Wind Clan? These elders were truly enraged. At the same time, they made up their minds. They had sealed the 9 sons' divine physique with their magic power, but it was still so powerful that it could injure an elder. If they got it, how strong would their physiques be? Perhaps everyone in the Wind Clan had a saint physique. If that was the case, no one would be a match for them. The other clan of the ancients were no match for them. Even the Purple Palace realm was inferior to them. It's not convenient for us to do it, so let the punishment hall do it. They're the best at interrogating criminals. Do we need to inform the Patriarch? No, the Patriarch's bottom line is that he can't die. The punishment hall knows what they're doing. But I'll make him wish he was dead. The punishment hall was built by the Wind Clan's disciples and elders to carry out all kinds of punishments. The punishment hall master was also one of the core elders. He was very strong. The people in the punishment hall were all cruel. The Wind Clan's disciples felt their scalps go numb. Now they were using it to deal with Lin Xian. Lin Xian's situation was the most dangerous. Next, Lin Xian was struck by lightning, burned by fire, sword chi, saber light, and all kinds of punishments. His divine physique also cracked under the fire and thunder. It couldn't be helped. With the great sage personally administering the punishment, it was really terrifying. Kid, are you going to talk or not? The hall master of the punishment hall coldly snorted and thrust his sword forward, piercing through Lin Xian's heart. Lin Xian's face was pale. He could feel his life force weakening. Fortunately, he cultivated immortality. Otherwise, he would have been severely injured by now. Even so, his situation was not very good. Damn it, I have to get out of this mess. He gritted his teeth. I said. He was a great sage after all. Dealing with a young man like Yang Qi would be a piece of cake for him. Yang Qi smiled coldly. Hurry up and write it down. This is a great merit. After handing it over to the Patriarch, he might be the first to cultivate the 9 Yang divine body. He even had other ideas. Brat, other than the 9 Yang divine physique, you are also the great dragon's descendant, right? You also have half an extreme grade weapon. Obediently hand it over. These are not things that an ant like you can possess. Lin Xian's pupil shrank. His greed was insatiable. The punishment hall elder stabbed his sword into Lin Xian's body again. Is this the attitude you should use when speaking to me? Do you believe that I won't make you wish you were dead again? Lin Xian's injuries were even more severe. He gritted his teeth and laughed. Fine, we can negotiate. However, you have to release me first and undo the seal. Brat, are you trying to escape? Don't think that we don't know that you have the Great Sage Artifact. Hand over the Great Sage Artifact. The punishment hall elder was talking about the Great Sage Pagoda. Lin Xian clenched his teeth. I can hand over the Great Sage Pagoda, the punishment hall master said, and the heaven swallowing jar. Here. Lin Xian handed over the heaven swallowing jar. He was not worried. It had his soul imprint and the power of reincarnation. It would not be easy for these people to erase it. Moreover, he already had his own plans. He wanted to see what these people could do to him when the time came. A pagoda floated up and down. The black jar was also floating, emitting a terrifying aura. The punishment hall master looked up to the sky and laughed. The punishment hall people's eyes lit up. As expected of the hall master, his methods were indeed powerful. The other elders could not do anything, but it was easy for them. A young man laughed. Father has made a great contribution. I think the position of great elder will be yours in the future. Ha ha. The punishment hall master looked up to the sky and laughed. He stretched out his hands and grabbed the great sage pagoda and the heaven-swallowing jar. The great sage pagoda resisted and shone brightly. The punishment hall master directly sealed it. This was the great sage artifact, and he was also the great sage. He could control it. However, the heaven-swallowing jar was not so easy. This was half an extreme weapon. He could not suppress it with his strength. His palm was about to be swallowed. He coldly snorted. How strange. But so what? He formed a sealing barrier and enveloped the heaven-swallowing jar. He would slowly study it when he returned. You still have the great dragon sword soul. Hand it over. Lin Xian said coldly. The great dragon sword soul is one with me. Handing it over is equivalent to taking my life. Forget it. You don't have enough strength to use it. They had already taken off Lin Xian's storage ring, so they were not worried. They would release the seal and make him tell them the inheritance of the 9 yang divine body. Father, would it be too risky? The young man said. The punishment hall master sneered. His treasures are in our hands. Can he overturn the heavens? That's true. The young man laughed. He waved his hand and broke the chains on Lin Xian's body. However, the seal that suppressed Lin Xian's strength was not released. The chains on his body disappeared. Lin Xian could move again. He landed on the ground with a pale face. In front, the punishment hall master said, All right, kid, hurry up and speak. Don't fight with me. Otherwise, your ending will be very miserable. He was not worried that Lin Xian would escape. At this moment, he had everything under control. In this place, he was the ruler. The young man also sneered. Hurry up and speak. Lin Xian raised his head and smiled. Listen carefully, he said. Listen carefully. The general principle of the 9 yang divine body is. Hearing this, everyone became excited. This was a super strong physique in the starry sky. However, in the next moment, Lin Xian shouted coldly, Don't even think about it in this lifetime. After saying that, he used all his strength to activate the great dragon sword soul, and directly broke the seal. After the seal was broken, Lin Xian's strength recovered, and he directly summoned the heaven-swallowing jar. It swallowed him. Damn it, how dare you! The punishment hall master roared as he sent a palm strike toward the heaven-devouring jar. However, Lin Xian had already been swallowed. The heaven-swallowing jar was sent flying, but Lin Xian's figure had already disappeared. Damn it, you sealed this jar for me. He was really crazy. He had underestimated Lin Xian's strength. How could the great dragon sword soul be so easy to seal? Lin Xian attacked with all his strength. The great dragon sword soul directly opened the seal. Although it was only a crack, it was enough for Lin Xian to use his strength. After entering the heaven-swallowing jar, he once again entered the mysterious world in his body. Then he heaved a sigh of relief. He was finally safe. No one could enter the mysterious world. Moreover, the heaven-swallowing jar was guarding outside. He temporarily saved his life, but it was not enough. Chapter 47-34. The hall master of the punishment hall went crazy. They attacked quickly, but it was useless. Damn it! His face turned green. He was afraid that the heaven-devouring jar would escape, so he quickly contacted the other great sage. When the great sage learned about it, their expressions turned ugly. The hall master of the punishment hall dared to let the other party out. Even the Wind Clan leader walked over and looked coldly at the hall master of the punishment hall. The hall master of the punishment hall said, Clan leader, you really don't blame me. He said that he only let him go because he wanted to tell us the inheritance of the divine body. Moreover, we took all the treasures before that. I really didn't expect him to be able to mobilize his power. It seems that we all underestimated him. A great sage sighed. Another said, Fortunately, the heaven-devouring jar hasn't escaped yet. We'll suppress it first unless it doesn't come out for the rest of its life. If it doesn't work, We'll gather all our strength to crack the heaven-devouring crown and remove the sealed soul. At that time, this half-apex weapon will be ours. Even if they couldn't get the 9-yang divine body, it would be great if they could get the heaven-devouring jar. All right, let's do that. The Wind Clan leader nodded. Next, they began to attack the heaven-devouring jar. The Wind Clan leader personally attacked. At the same time, there were 4 Grand Elders and the Hall Master of the Punishment Hall. They moved quickly. On the other side, countless sects and families had gathered at the Pill Cauldron Gate. When these great sage arrived, their faces turned cold. The people of the Mountain Sea Palace also came. Elder Ruochen walked over with a man. The man looked very young. He looked young, but his aura was unfathomable. He was the Mountain Sea Palace Master, Wu Yuan. Everyone arrived and was discussing countermeasures when a team arrived outside Taiching Ancient City. These people had prominent horns on their heads, and there were even scales flickering in some places. Their auras were abnormally powerful. The leader of the group was a pale-faced man in a dark red robe. Beside him was a man in a green robe with a face full of pimples. He looked very strange. The red-robed man looked to the side and said, "You're too unskilled. You're so ugly in human form. What's so good about humans? My true form is handsome." It was a handsome toad that was beyond handsome. The green-robed man laughed. "You're just a ruffian dragon, so why are you still acting cool?" Hearing those words, the faces of the people behind turned cold. They stared at the people in front of them with hostile expressions. The green-robed man turned around and said, "What? I'm your boss's brother. Can't I say a few words to him? All of you little brothers stay in the back." Before he could finish, the red-robed man slapped him. "Damn toad, be more polite to my people. These are all my clansmen." Then the red-robed man asked, "Is that kid really here?" The green-robed man said, "That's right, not only did he appear, it was said that He Shan also appeared. The two of them had caused a huge commotion here. These two people were none other than the toad and the dark red dragon. The group of experts following behind him were all experts from the dragons. From the looks of it, after the dark red divine dragon came to the buried Emperor Star, it seemed to have found its clan. At this moment, they had all transformed into human form and came to Taiching Ancient City to meet Lin Xian and He Shan. After all, they hadn't met for a long time. Before entering the city, the dark red dragon said to the people behind him, "Keep a low profile and retract your dragon Dao aura." "Young master, don't worry, we naturally know." These people all retracted their dragon Dao aura. They all wore loose robes. "Let's go." The dark red dragon waved his hand, and the group entered the ancient city. After entering, they were all shocked. As expected of Primeval City, it was indeed powerful and mysterious. "Young master, there are many ancient families here. However, the only ones you have to be careful of are the people from the Heavenly Court and Purple Mansion," the dark red dragon said with a smile. "Don't worry, the Heavenly Court is one of us. As for the Purple Mansion, I heard that they were heavily injured and didn't dare to come out. Besides, we're not going to look for them. We're going to look for that kid Lin Xian." "But where is Lin Xian?" They didn't know. They were very direct. The toad jumped over and grabbed one of the cultivators and asked, "Do you know where Lin Xian is?" It was a woman. When she saw the toad's face full of bumps, she was so scared that she was about to cry. "I don't know, but he has a good relationship with the Pill Cauldron School. You can go and ask," the woman said softly. The toad let go of her and walked back saying, "He's at the Pill Cauldron School." The group set off for the Pill Cauldron School. "Who's there?" At the Pill Cauldron School's mountain gate, countless guards shouted angrily and activated the formation. The aura of the group in front was very terrifying. Moreover, they were wearing black robes and looked very suspicious. It was very likely that they were attacking them. The toad jumped out and said, "We're here to look for Lin Xian. You should be his friends. Tell him that his old friends are here. Wait here, I'll go in and report." The two guards turned into streaks of light and rushed in. At this moment, the elders in the main hall were still discussing when a voice suddenly sounded from outside. "Report. There's a group of suspicious people outside. They say they're Lin Xian's old friends. They're here to look for Lin Xian." The elders in the main hall frowned. Lin Xian's old friends? Dan Feng and the others were puzzled. Who are they? Are they from the heavenly court? However, Leaf Daodinier was shocked. Perhaps they really were old friends. He knew that Lin Xian was the same as him. They both came from another world. He said, let's go and take a look. I'll go with you. Leaf Daodinier, Dan Feng, and Fan Xing followed the guards out. Outside the mountain gate, there was a dark red dragon. They were getting impatient from waiting. At this moment, 3 streaks of light flew over. What a powerful aura! Fan Xing and Dan Feng's pupils shrank. Although the group in front of them had deliberately restrained their auras, they could still sense it. It was as if there was a volcano in their bodies, and a terrifying power could erupt at any moment. However, this group of people was unfamiliar. They hadn't appeared when they attacked the Zifu sect. Were they really Lin Xian's friends? Or were they here to target Lin Xian? Leaf Daodinier frowned. He didn't know this guy. He knew that Lin Xian had many friends, and he even had a dragon. However, these people were all humans. Wait a minute. He could sense that the other party's aura was very powerful. He had a powerful soul and bloodline. He said, "You're ruffian dragon? Fuck, who dares to call me that?" The dark red dragon was furious. This wasn't a title that ordinary people dared to call him. It's you, the Yi family brat. The dark red dragon was stunned. Then he grinned. You're here too? Lin Xian, that brat. Tell him to come over. I haven't seen him in a long time. The dragons were also shocked. Someone dared to be disrespectful to their young master. They were furious. But when they learned that the other party was Leaf Daodinier, they gasped in shock. This was a descendant of the Yi family. His status was very high. Chapter 47-35. You came at the right time. We were just about to go save Lin Xian. What's going on? What happened to that kid? Asked the dragon. It's a long story. Come in and tell me. He invited all the people from the dragon clan inside. Inside the hall, the Pill Cauldron School and Longevity Hall were still waiting. When they learned that Lin Xian's old friends had come, they were stunned. They were also stunned. This was a race of true divine beasts, even stronger than the Golden Crows. They didn't dare show the slightest disrespect, and respectfully invited them in. Everyone gathered in the hall. Since we're all Lin Xian's friends, there's no need to be so courteous. Lin Xian is in grave danger. He's been suppressed by the Wind Clan. I'm guessing they want his treasures. Damn it, are they tired of living? I'll go destroy them. The toad was instantly enraged. The dragon's face was cold and murderous. How dare they make a move on Lin Xian? Unforgivable. He immediately wanted to lead the dragons to kill the Wind Clan. But Leaf Daodinier said, we can't act rashly. Someone has to go to the Wind Clan first, lest they take Lin Xian away. I'll go. Wu Yuan, the palace lord of the Mountain Sea Palace, walked out and said, they didn't know me before, so they didn't know about my relationship with Lin Xian. I'll go too. The dragon and toad also stepped forward. They hadn't been present during the attack on Lin Xian's Zifu. Fine, we'll wait outside. They quickly came to an agreement. The dragon and Wu Yuan would lead the Mountain Sea Palace and the dragons to visit Lin Xian. The Wind Clan's formation was activated. In the Wind Clan's treasure pagoda, the Wind Clan's patriarch and grand elders had grim expressions. Damn it, the heaven-devouring jar was truly terrifying. Even with so many great sage working together, they couldn't do anything about it. I refuse to believe he won't come out for the rest of his life. The Punishment Hall Master roared furiously. The clan leader of the Wind Clan was also furious. She sneered. Even if she had to spend 10 or even 100 years, she would still refine it. This thing was too important. They would do anything to get it. Lin Xian sat cross-legged in the mysterious world of Sword Dao inside the heaven-devouring jar. He circulated the immortality art to quickly heal his injuries. He had recovered from his previous injuries and exhausted energy. Furthermore, he had not left and was still cultivating here. He could feel that the people outside were continuing to attack. Were these people still unwilling to give up? Since that was the case, he made up his mind. He might as well cultivate in this mysterious world. When he reached the Great Sage Realm, He would go out and exterminate the Wind Clan. But at this moment, a voice came from outside. Reporting to the Patriarch, "There is someone outside who wishes to see you." Who was it? The Patriarch of the Wind Clan shouted coldly. Didn't he see that he was busy right now? Moreover, the Wind Clan was so nervous at this time. How could they have time to meet other people? Can't you see that we're busy? Get lost. However, the guard said that they were the Hall Master of the Mountain Sea Palace, and the people of the dragons. The Mountain Sea Palace and the dragons. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. What were they doing here at this time? Was it related to Lin Xian? The Patriarch of the Wind Clan said that no, when they attacked the Z Mansion, Lin Xian's people had already figured it out. They were the people of the Gu Clan, the Immortal Hall, the Fire God Palace, and the other regions of the Eternal Mountain Range. However, the Mountain Sea Palace and the dragons were not in the Eternal Mountain Range. They should not be here because of Lin Xian. Perhaps there was something else. Perhaps. How about this? You guys continue to crack with all your strength. I'll go and see what they want. After saying that, the Patriarch of the Wind Clan walked out of the pagoda and headed outside. On a divine island, the Patriarch of the Wind Clan landed. Outside, the array formation flickered. 2 teams were waiting. There were not many people, which made the Patriarch of the Wind Clan heave a sigh of relief. She said, "Open the array formation." An elder went to welcome them with a smile. It turned out that they were fellow Taoists from the Mountain Sea Palace and the dragons. Wu Yuan nodded and let Elder Ruochen and the others in. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon snorted coldly, waved his hand, and followed them in. After inviting them into the main hall, the Patriarch of the Wind Clan stood up with a smile. "May I know what the 2 of you are here for?" Wu Yuan said. "I heard that your Wind Clan recently had a very famous guest here. We would like to meet him." "Meet a guest?" The Patriarch of the Wind Clan frowned and asked with a smile. "May I know who this guest is?" The dark red divine dragon snorted. "Stop pretending. We heard that the top genius Lin Xian is in your Wind Clan. We are here to look for him." "Damn it, they are here to look for Lin Xian." The people of the Wind Clan frowned. The Patriarch of the Wind Clan was also surprised. She really did not expect the dragons and the Mountain Sea Palace to be related to Lin Xian. "I was careless," she said. "I don't know who you heard it from, but there is no such thing. It is just some rumors outside. Lin Xian did not come to our Wind Clan at all. We don't know where he is. Please go back. I still have some things to do." "Men, send the guests out." After saying that, the Patriarch of the Wind Clan turned to leave. The elders of the Wind Clan walked over. The dark red divine dragon snorted coldly. "Nonsense. We have received reliable news that Lin Xian is here. Why? Are you not willing to let us meet? Or have you used other methods to suppress Lin Xian? How dare you?" The elders of the Wind Clan shouted angrily. A young boy dared to be impudent here. They saw that the dark red divine dragon was very young. At this moment, they released a supreme pressure, wanting to get down from the dark red divine dragon. "You are the one who is bold to be rude to our young master." The experts of the dragons behind them directly walked out, releasing a terrifying aura of the Tao of Dragons. A dragon's roar resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. A terrifying pressure and bloodline power swept through the surroundings. The expressions of the Wind Clan's people changed greatly. "Damn it." The Patriarch of the Wind Clan also turned his head and frowned. "You dragons want to behave atrociously here? This is our Wind Clan's territory." "So what?" The experts of the dragons shouted angrily. "You dared to berate our young master. You deserve to die." The dark red divine dragon sneered and walked out. "Looks like you still don't know my identity. Let me introduce myself again. I am the young master of the Black Sea Dragons." The young master of the Black Sea Dragons. The pupils of the Wind Clan's Patriarch constricted. This was different from ordinary geniuses. This was an existence that could take over the dragons in the future. On the buried Emperor Star, there were many branches of the dragons. The Black Sea Dragons were a very terrifying branch. Although they were not from the nest of 10,000 dragons, they were still very terrifying. The Mountain Sea Palace's palace master Wu Yuan also sighed. Lin Xian is a member of our Mountain Sea Palace. Today, I must know his whereabouts. After speaking, the void behind him split open and endless starlight flickered. There were also terrifying claws that covered the sky and earth. That was just the tip of the iceberg. It seemed to be a demonic beast with a huge body that could sweep through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. A space beast. Moreover, it was on the great sage level. The pupils of the Wind Clan's people constricted. Is this the Mountain Sea Palace's palace master? Chapter 47-36. A terrifying aura shrouded the entire hall. He would probably attack at any moment. The Wind Clan leader's expression changed a few times. Then he sighed. Forget it. Young Master Lin is indeed here. If you want to see him, come. But only the 2 of you can come. She pointed at the dark red dragon and Wu Yuan. All right. The dark red dragon stepped forward. Wu Yuan nodded. Then he said to the people behind him, You guys wait here. The 2 of them followed the patriarch of the Wind Clan into the distance. After flying past countless islands, they finally stopped on one of them. They entered the 9-story pagoda. Palace Master, you're back. The people in the pagoda stood up. When they saw that the clan leader had brought 2 people back, they frowned. The clan leader frowned. Said the leader of the Wind Clan. He was the leader of the Mountain Sea Palace, Yuan Wu, and the young master of the Black Sea Dragon clan. They were all here to see Lin Xian. Those people sucked in a breath of cold air. Damn it, these people were actually related to Lin Xian. They were really careless. Where's Lin Xian? The dark red dragon roared. He looked around and didn't see Lin Xian. The Wind Clan leader pointed at the heaven-devouring jar. He was inside. What? The dark red dragon was shocked. He felt a terrifying aura. Wu Yuan's eyes narrowed. He took a deep breath and said, Heaven-devouring demonic jar. Damn. It's actually that thing. The dark red dragon jumped up and looked carefully. That was a legendary weapon. Now it seemed that it was truly terrifying. That brat had really obtained that item. Why is there only one weapon? Where is he? The Wind Clan leader said. He's cultivating inside and we're protecting him. You guys are really shameless. You guys sealed me and wanted to get my inheritance. You even wanted to steal my weapon and treasures. Now you have the face to say that you're protecting me. At this moment, a cold laugh came from the heaven-devouring jar. Hearing this, the Wind Clan people's faces turned dark red. The dark red dragon jumped up. Kid, it's really you. Are you okay? Lin Xian said. I'm not dead yet. Ruffian dragon, why are you here? The dark red dragon said. I'm here to save you. Since you came here on your own, I'm afraid you won't be able to save me. Hurry up and get reinforcements. I understand. Just you wait. The dark red divine dragon turned around and wanted to leave. These people were eyeing Lin Xian's inheritance. They wanted Lin Xian's life. He had to go back and call in the people outside to suppress the Wind Clan together. Only then could he save Lin Xian and leave. However, the Foam Clan leader waved his hand, and a storm blocked the dragon's path. You can't leave. The dark red divine dragon was enraged. What was the meaning of this? You dare to stop me? No one can save him until we get what we want. Don't worry, when we get what we want, we will send you away safely and personally apologize to you. Therefore, the 2 of you had better rest in this 9-level pagoda first. Finished speaking, she waved her hand, releasing a terrifying law, directly sealing it. Among them, there were many great sage. Whether it was strength or numbers, they far surpassed the Crimson Divine Dragon and Wu Yuan. Therefore, this was the reason why the Foam Clan leader was fearless. What if I insist on taking him away? The dark red divine dragon's face darkened. Wu Yuan let out a cold snort, and the starry sky beast appeared behind him once again. Its huge body filled the entire 9-story pagoda. The 9-level pagoda kept shaking, and those great sage were terrified. What a terrifying beast! Roar! At this moment, the dark red divine dragon roared, and the terrifying dragon's roar resounded through the 9 heavens. The Foam Clan leader formed a seal with his palm, suppressing the 9-level pagoda. seal, suppress everything. This was also a great sage artifact. It was terrifying. It's useless. You can't spread it out. Is that so? The dark red divine dragon sneered. His body swayed, and he came to the side of the heaven-devouring jar. Kid, let's do it together. Lin Xian expressed his understanding. He used the great dragon sword soul to release the dragon's roar, and combined with the dark red divine dragon's bloodline. In the next moment, a sword light seemed to be able to tear the 9 heavens apart. Roar. Outside the 9-level pagoda, the roar rumbled, spreading throughout the Wind Clan's island. What's that sound? What a terrifying aura. Countless people were shocked. In a hall on the island, the experts of the dragons heard the sound, and their expressions changed. Not good. It's the young master's voice. The young master is in danger. They roared angrily, and their bodies changed, turning into true dragons one after another, roaring between heaven and earth. Kill. They directly tore through heaven and earth, and rushed to the 9 heavens. On the Mountain Sea Palace's side, Elder Ruachin also said, "Leave quickly." They also summoned countless demonic beasts, and they rushed over in an overwhelming manner. At the same time, Elder Ruachin formed a seal with his hand, and transmitted a message to those outside, telling them to move quickly. Outside, Dan Feng and the others also took a deep breath when they heard the news. Let's move. Inside the 9-level pagoda, the Feng clan leader's expression was ugly. Damn it, quickly suppress them. The 6 great sage attacked together. The dark red divine dragon's body shook. Although he was the young master of the dragons, his strength was only a sage king, and he couldn't resist at all. Fortunately, Wu Yuan followed. He controlled the starry sky beast and cleansed everything. The starry sky beast seemed to have turned into a river of stars. Behind them, Lin Xian also used all his strength to activate the swallowing heaven jar, releasing a terrifying devouring aura. Suppress them. The Feng clan leader roared angrily, and together they repelled the starry sky beast and charged towards Wu Yuan and the dark red divine dragon. At the critical moment, Lin Xian used the swallowing heaven jar to swallow the 2 of them and the starry sky beast, blocking the fatal attack. Damn it, the Feng clan leader was angry. She said, "Fully recover. Sacred weapon. I want to suppress them." The Supreme Elders also looked serious, and they were ready to attack. However, at this moment, a fierce attack came from outside the 9-level pagoda, and there were also terrifying dragon roars and demonic beasts roaring. Damn it, how dare you attack our young master? Do you want to offend the dragons of the Black Sea? The Mountain Sea Palace is not to be trifled with. If you really provoke us, we will control millions of demonic beasts to attack the Feng clan. Elder Ruachin also roared. Damn it, the news had indeed spread. Their faces were gloomy. What about the clan leader? The elders asked. The hall master of the punishment hall walked out and said, "Since this is the case, why don't we just kill them? Otherwise, the Feng clan would be in danger if the news spread." The surrounding people hesitated, but when they thought of the consequences, they couldn't bear it. A hint of madness appeared in their eyes. Fine, they are in the Feng clan anyway. No matter how strong they are, they can't escape. We will use the Supreme Array and some trump cards to kill them. These people's eyes were red, and their killing intent swept through the 9 heavens. The Feng clan leader nodded and prepared to take action. At this moment, a loud voice sounded between heaven and earth. Pill Cauldron sect heard that young Master Lin Xian was in the Feng clan, and came to pay a visit. Longevity Hall came to pay a visit to young Master Lin. Fire God Palace came to pay a visit to young Master Lin. Gu Clan came to pay a visit to young Master Lin. One after another, the voices resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. After hearing this, the Feng clan leader and the elders' faces turned ugly. Chapter 47-37. The people of the Wind Clan fell into endless panic, especially the Wind Clan leader and the others. Their faces were ugly. It seemed that the news had spread out long ago, but they didn't know that they were surrounded by so many powerful families. Could the Wind Clan resist? Stop them. The patriarch of the Wind Clan ordered. However, it was useless. The people outside saw that the people of the Wind Clan didn't react and attacked directly. They tore open the array and charged in. Terrifying auras fell from the 9 heavens. The people of the Wind Clan felt their hair stand on end. The young disciples felt their scalps go numb. They were so scared that they almost knelt on the ground. Heavens, what's going on? Why are there so many powerful people here? Are they going to start a war with the Wind Clan? Finally, they reached the outside of the 9-story pagoda. The Wind Clan leader had no choice but to brace himself and go out. He said, "Everyone, what do you mean by entering the Wind Clan directly? Do you want to start a war with the Wind Clan? Hand over young Master Lin." Danfeng shouted coldly. The people of the Longevity Hall roared even more. "Yes, hand over Immortal. The Wind Clan is audacious. How dare you suppress Immortal? You don't know what's good for you." The experts of the dragons roared. "How dare you disrespect our young master? Do you want to die?" The terrifying aura of the Tao of Dragons swept in all directions. "Great, our people are finally here." Inside the sky-devouring jar, Lin Xian was delighted. He controlled the sky-devouring jar to turn into a stream of light, and finally rushed over. Then Lin Xian, Wu Yuan, and the dark red dragon walked out. "Young master." The people of the dragons were delighted. On the other side, the people of the Longevity Hall and Fire God Palace exclaimed. When they saw Lin Xian, their faces turned ugly. They found that Lin Xian's robe was covered in blood. Obviously, he had been punished. The dark red dragon gritted his teeth. "Damn it! How dare you attack my brother? How dare you suppress me? The Wind Clan is dead meat." He was murderous. The experts of the dragons also had cold expressions. As long as the order was given, they would quickly take action. Lin Xian's expression was cold as he stared at the people from the Wind Clan. He sneered. "Wind Clan, very good, you're very bold. He actually dared to suppress me and even wanted to snatch my precious inheritance. But can you eat it?" The people of the Wind Clan all had ugly expressions, especially the Wind Clan leader, who sucked in a breath of cold air. It had to be known that Lin Xian had led so many experts to attack the Violet Palace realm. They had all seen the power of that attack. The Purple Palace realm was so powerful, but even it was heavily injured, let alone the Wind Clan. She said, "Young Master Lin, this is a misunderstanding." "That's right." The other Grand Elders all laughed. "Young Master Lin, this is indeed a misunderstanding. We were just joking with you." "Misunderstanding? What a joke." Lin Xian sneered. "Oh really? In that case, I'll also create a misunderstanding and joke with you guys." As he said that, he waved his hand. The experts of the Pill Cauldron sect, Fire God Palace, Gu Clan, and Eternal Life Hall all surrounded him. On the other side, the people of the dragons also walked over under the command of the dark red divine dragon. The people of the Mountain Sea Lake released their demonic beasts. Terrifying demonic beasts roared between heaven and earth. "Don't attack," the Wind Clan leader quickly said. They were in the wrong this time, and they were willing to compensate. Compensate for what? Okay. Lin Xian sneered. He waved his hand and walked over. He first looked at the Punishment Hall leader. "You're really good. You actually dared to snatch my treasures. Now hand over all those things." Now, other than the heaven-devouring jar and the dragon-shaped sword soul, Lin Xian's other things had been taken away. This included the Black Earth, the Great Sage Pagoda, the Great Destruction, and his storage ring. Being stared at by countless experts, the Punishment Hall leader did not dare to be presumptuous. He quickly handed over the items from before. At the same time, he gritted his teeth. Damn it, these things had only been in his hands for a few days, and now he had to hand them over. He was unwilling. But in the current situation, he could not resist. After Lin Xian took it, he quickly checked it. He found that the soul imprints on the Black Earth and the Great Sage Pagoda had dimmed a lot. Obviously, these people had been continuously attacking. He re-imprinted his soul imprint, and then checked the storage ring. He found that the things inside were still there. He heaved a sigh of relief and put them away. Then he looked at the Punishment Hall leader. "Didn't you want compensation? Let's see how you're going to compensate me." The Punishment Hall leader's face was ugly. In the end, he took out his storage ring and said, "I'll give you my storage ring." Lin Xian took a look and sneered. "Not enough. Damn it." The people of the Wind Clan gritted their teeth. How many treasures were there in the Great Sage Pagoda's storage ring? But this guy still thinks it's not enough? Why do you think this matter can be solved easily? What a joke. I'll let you know how stupid you are. First, hand over the storage rings of everyone in the punishment hall. The people of the punishment hall were full of despair. The Wind Clan leader sneered. What are you waiting for? Can't you hear young Master Lin's words? There was no other way. The people of the punishment hall handed over their storage rings. Lin Xian waved his hand and kept them all. Is this okay? The Wind Clan leader asked. Lin Xian said. This is just the beginning. He looked at the young man again. Previously you wanted to kill me, suppress me, and search my soul. I'm standing here now. Try to move. Feng Kong kept retreating, his face full of despair. The punishment hall leader said, My son is insensible and offended young Master Lin. I apologize on his behalf. I refuse. Lin Xian said coldly and then looked at Feng Kong. Are you a man? If you're a man, come out. I'll give you a chance to challenge me. If you can block one of my moves, I'll let you leave alive. Otherwise, you can go to hell and apologize to me. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people's faces changed. The punishment hall leader's pupils shrank. No, father, save me. Feng Kong's face was full of fear. The supreme elder of the Wind Clan snorted. Trash, you can't even block one move? The punishment hall leader gritted his teeth and said, Konger, you can do it. You're also a top genius. Although you're not as good as the Wind Phoenix, you can still be ranked in the top 10 among the younger generation of the Wind Clan. Feng Kong's scalp went numb, but he still walked away. Go. Just one move? He quickly moved out and took out many defensive weapons to protect himself. If he could block this move, he would be safe. Looking at this scene, the dark red divine dragon and the others looked at him with disdain. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He said indifferently, That. Chapter 47-38. What? Is he dead? The people of the Wind Clan were stunned. They couldn't believe it. The young disciples' faces were filled with terror. Feng Kong had been killed by the other party's words. He was the top expert of the clan. The elders of the Wind Clan were also shocked. What kind of method was that? No. The leader of the punishment hall shouted. He didn't expect his son to be unable to block a single move. One of the great sage's face turned ugly. He said, This guy's soul is too strong. He was able to block one of my attacks. He killed Feng Kong with his soul eye technique. The others were in an uproar. It was a soul attack. This method was too strange. Damn kid, I'm going to kill you. The leader of the punishment hall roared. Stop. However, the Feng clan leader's expression was ugly as he shouted angrily. The leader of the punishment hall stopped. Damn it. He gritted his teeth so hard that they almost broke. The leader of the Wind Clan asked, Young Master Lin, are you satisfied? Lin Xian replied, How far have you gone? How can a young ant quell my anger? Do you think what you did to me can be erased so quickly? Are you kidding me? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with killing intent. He swore that he would take revenge and make the Wind Clan regret it. Then Lin Xian looked at the people of the punishment hall and said, Those who entered the pagoda, kill yourselves. What? The people of the punishment hall were filled with despair. The pupils of the Wind Clan also shrank. This was an elite team, and there were many experts who had entered before. Now they were going to kill them? What a joke. They wanted to stop him. Lin Xian sneered. What? You're not willing? Then I'll do it myself. As he spoke, he threw out the swallowing heaven jar. A terrifying devouring aura spread in all directions. Those people quickly retreated in horror. At this moment, the dark red dragon laughed. They also attacked me. Kill them. After hearing this, the experts of the dragons moved quickly. Roar. Roar. Dragon roars reverberated through the heaven and earth as all kinds of terrifying great divine abilities of the dragon race flew out and tore tens of people into blood mist in an instant. Ancestor, Old Zhang, help. Those people roared crazily, but it was useless. In an instant they were all annihilated. The Wind Clan's people were in despair. What was going on? These people were in their territory killing their experts, but their elders and patriarchs didn't say a single word. Was this a tacit agreement? Lin Xian looked around at the angry eyes and sneered. What? Were they angry and desperate? But do you know what your Wind Clan has done? The patriarch of the Wind Clan used the excuse of inviting me to the Wind Clan to suppress me. What happened after that? Let me tell you, the 6 great sage, the countless elders, and the people from the punishment hall tortured me in every possible way. Do you think what I've done to the Wind Clan is excessive? What? The people from the Wind Clan were stunned. They really didn't know about this matter. They didn't expect that Lin Xian's disappearance during this period of time was actually because he was suppressed by their experts and the great sage. Wind Clan chief's face darkened. She asked, "Are you satisfied now?" Lin Xian snorted coldly and ignored her. Then he stared at the punishment hall master. "You attacked me personally. I won't let you off. Brat, do you want to kill me?" The punishment hall master shouted angrily. He was a great sage. As expected, the people from the Wind Clan roared. "Enough, don't go too far. We've already tolerated you a lot. Do you really think we're afraid of you?" Lin Xian sneered. "What? You're not satisfied? Then I'll make you despair." He waved his hand, and the people from Pill Cauldron Gate and Longevity Hall walked over. A terrifying aura enveloped the world, and the terrifying power made everyone despair. The Wind Clan chief gritted her teeth. She said, "If the punishment hall master dies, will your anger be appeased?" "I don't know if it can be appeased completely, but I'm very angry now. I must personally return the torture that this guy has inflicted on me. If the Wind Clan won't do it, then I'll do it myself. Don't blame me when the Wind Clan is destroyed." Killing intent appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. The Grand Elders' faces were ugly. They said, "Clan Chief, why don't you give up on the punishment hall master?" The other Grand Elder sighed. If he didn't pay a price, this brat wouldn't give up. A great sage might be able to appease his anger. The Wind Clan chief sighed and closed her eyes. She said, "Do it." Yes. The great sage received the order and moved quickly. The 4 great sage came in front of the punishment hall master and said, "Don't blame us. We're doing this for the clan." "Damn it. What do you want? Do you really want to kill me?" The punishment hall master shouted angrily, and the power in his body erupted. He struck out a peerless attack, and the 9 heavens and 10 earths cracked. However, his opponents were the 4 great sage, and they were great sage of the same clan. The 4 great saints worked together to suppress him. Soon, they had subdued the head of the disciplinary hall. Cripple his cultivation. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Since the 4 great sage had made their decision, they wouldn't hold back. They directly crippled the punishment hall master's cultivation. No. The punishment hall master was in despair. Without his cultivation, he was nothing. In fact, he even aged a lot in an instant. He really didn't expect the clan to give up on him. "Damn it, you'll regret it. Hurry up and kill this brat together, or the Wind Clan will be in danger. This brat will definitely not let this go. Do you think you'll be safe if I die? Hurry up and do it." However, the people of the Wind Clan ignored him and walked over from the other side. He took out the unparalleled sword and the great spear of destruction from his storage ring, and began to attack. "Don't you like to torture people? I'll let you know what it's like." The other party, without his cultivation, was like an ant to him. He attacked powerfully and first broke all the bones in the other party's body. Then he began to use all kinds of methods. Screams sounded, and everyone's scalps went numb. The people of the Wind Clan were so scared that they almost fainted. In the end, Lin Xian's eyes shone. Suffer the pain of 10,000 years of reincarnation. Die. He activated the power of reincarnation with the heavenly secret divine eyes, and pulled the other party's soul into the land of illusions, and began to suffer. In the end, the punishment hall master died. Lin Xian roared at the sky, venting his anger. "Young Master Lin, are you satisfied?" A great sage asked carefully. Lin Xian said, "Killing him has indeed calmed me down a lot, but it's still not enough." "What?" As soon as these words came out, the Grand Elders were stunned. The expression of the Wind Clan's patriarch changed drastically. He roared, "Don't go too far. Do you really think the Wind Clan is afraid of you? Another great sage gritted his teeth. What do you want? Lin Xian said coldly. I won't bully the Wind Clan. Those who attacked me before, no matter if they were ordinary sages or top great sages, must die. His voice was filled with endless killing intent. Chapter 4739. The faces of the few great sage experts who had attacked earlier were extremely ugly, because they had also attacked Lin Xian before. They wanted to take his soul. Now that the other party was here, wouldn't he kill them too? The face of the Feng clan's leader sank. She said coldly, Before, I also attacked you. Are you going to kill me as well? Lin Xian sneered. That's right. Anyone who attacked me before will go to hell. How dare you? You're courting death. This time countless experts from the Feng clan roared. The other party wouldn't even let their clan leader off. This time, the Feng clan couldn't take it anymore. Lin Xian snorted. What's wrong? Your clan leader's life is important. But my life isn't? I've said it before. If you attack me, the Feng clan will regret it. Now I'm giving you one last chance. Kill yourself. Clan leader, don't talk nonsense with him. This kid is a lunatic. Kill him, and all the treasures on him will be ours. The Feng clan leader also exploded with a sharp radiance. There was still room for discussion before, but since the other party wanted to kill her, there was no room for discussion. All Feng clan disciples, listen up. Kill. At this moment, endless radiance exploded from her body, sweeping across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The great sage elders of the Feng clan also attacked aggressively. A storm gathered in the sky, and countless Feng clan martial artists moved. A great array appeared, and pillars of light appeared on the deity islands one after another. The Wind Phoenix gathered a group of forces and began to operate. The Feng clan was completely mobilized. They wanted to kill the person in front of them completely. Lin Xian roared as he raised the heaven-devouring jar. Endless murderous intent radiated from his body. He shouted coldly, Everyone follow me. Let's conquer the 9 heavens. Kill. Pill Cauldron Sect, Longevity Hall, Gu Clan and Fire God Palace. Those people were also roaring. This wasn't the first time they followed Lin Xian. Previously, they had attacked him in the Z Mansion. Now that they were working together again, they were very familiar with each other. Soon a great battle broke out. Wu Yuan also stepped into the sky. He summoned the starry sky beast, which covered the 9 heavens. Terrifying stars fell. The Mountain Sea Palace elders he had brought with him also began to attack. On the other side the toad roared, Ruffian dragon, hurry up and attack. The dark red divine dragons coldly shouted, Dragons, listen up. Kill the people of the Wind Clan. Especially those who attacked us. Don't leave a single one alive. The dragon's experts received the order and attacked powerfully. Some of them took human form and looked like peerless war gods. Some were even more straightforward and directly transformed into their true forms. Countless dragons roared between heaven and earth. With one strike, the few divine islands below were shattered. All the formations, buildings, mountains, rivers, and even the martial artists on them were annihilated. No. The people of the wind race were in despair. They didn't expect these people to be so powerful. Kill that brat for me. A great sage from the wind tribe wielded an axe and flew towards Lin Xian. A terrifying aura enveloped Lin Xian like a giant axe. Lin Xian summoned the starry sky beast and quickly dodged. At the same time he used the great sage pagoda to block. With a clang he was forced back, and his chi and blood surged. Next to him, another great sage charged over. The great sage held a fan in his hand, and as he waved it, a tempest began to gather in the air, intending to tear Lin Xian apart. Lin Xian roared. The great sage pagoda defended, and at the same time, he used the heaven-devouring jar to the extreme. He quickly dodged. At this moment, the great sage from the Pill Cauldron Sect and the Longevity Hall walked over. Exalted immortals, retreat. Let's attack. They charged out aggressively. Lin Xian swept his gaze in all directions and looked at the young disciples of the Wind Clan. Come on, let's attack together. I'll take it. The Wind Phoenix gritted her teeth, and a sharp sword appeared in her hand. The wind shook the 9 heavens. A peerless sword technique swept out. Lin Xian sneered and struck out with both palms. Two-man ruler seals shot out and tore everything apart. He charged in front of the Wind Phoenix. The nine-yang divine body bloomed with radiance as he fought in close combat. How could the Wind Phoenix be a match for the divine body? She was injured in an instant. Wind spirit wings appeared on her back and brought her back quickly. The people of the Wind Clan were good at speed. At this moment they turned into extreme speed and kept dodging. At the same time, they attacked Lin Xian's vital points. Your speed is a little slower than light. Golden light bloomed in Lin Xian's eyes. He swept his gaze and began to lock onto the Wind Phoenix's position. The Wind Phoenix's speed was indeed very fast, but it couldn't escape his eyes. Soul gazes flew out one after another. The Wind Phoenix felt the soul attack. She quickly defended, but she was still a step too late. Lin Xian's soul wasn't something she could resist. After she came out, Lin Xian's finger pierced through her shoulder. One of her arms disappeared. It turned into a bloody mist. Her entire body flew out. Was the Wind Phoenix defeated? The young geniuses of the Wind Clan were shocked. Damn it! Everyone attacked together. More than a dozen geniuses charged over. Lin Xian laughed. He held the Great Destruction in his hand and waved it. The demonic clouds in the sky tumbled. The bodies of several geniuses split open. He was too strong. Lin Xian killed his way into the young disciples. Like a giant dragon entering a pack of wolves, he swept across the land. Those who were hit by him either turned into a bloody mist, suffered serious injuries, or died directly. No! The eyes of the Wind Clan leader turned red when she saw this. Damn it! She forced a great sage of the Fire God Palace to retreat. Then, she roared into the sky. She used her trump card. Activate, Sacred Weapon. In her hand, a terrifying fan of wind was formed. Wind Fan of 8 Desolation. The Wind Clan's sacred weapon. At this moment, she used all her strength and severely injured the great sage of the Fire God Palace. Then, the great sage of the Wind Clan quickly condensed and came to the side of the Wind Clan leader. They used all their strength to control the Wind Fan of 8 Desolation. The storm came, and the raindrops fell. Every drop could penetrate a peerless expert. Sacred weapon. Among the sacred weapons, it was the top existence. Now that it was out, it was terrifying. Competing with weapons? You're courting death. Lin Xian sneered. He threw the devouring heaven jar into the sky and said, "Give me your strength." The great sage of Lin Xian's side also condensed and injected their strength into the devouring heaven jar. The devouring heaven jar emitted a terrifying light. Endless whirlpools condensed and spun, swallowing the storm and rain. Then Lin Xian took out the great dragon sword. "Give me strength," he roared. The great sage gave him their strength again. Slash. With a slash, it was as if a divine dragon had been resurrected and swept across the 9 heavens. At this moment, the experts of the Dragon Clan narrowed their eyes. Such a powerful aura of the Tao of Dragon. This was the great dragon sword soul. Was this the legendary cultivation technique or sacred art? The people of the Dragon Clan also bowed down in worship. Boom. The Wind Clan used the Wind Fan of 8 Desolation to block with all their strength. The explosion of the two was earth-shattering. The people of the Wind Clan retreated and vomited. Many of them were bleeding from the corner of the Supreme Elder's mouth. The Wind Clan leader also spat out a mouthful of blood. Too strong. One had to know that this was not just a single force attacking them. Lin Xian had gathered several elite experts of the great sections one against many. The Wind Clan could not resist at all. Go and ask for help. The Wind Clan leader roared. In this situation, the Wind Clan alone could not resist. They had to ask for help. The elders of the Wind Clan fled one after another. Chapter 4740. Very soon news of this matter spread. Countless people were shocked. They didn't expect Lin Xian to attack the Wind Clan after attacking the Z Mansion. What a bully! When the Golden Crow Clan heard about it, they were furious. Who did this brat think he was? Did he really think he could behave atrociously above the heads of the desolate ancient families? The leader of the Golden Crow Clan looked ahead. The elder of the Wind Clan said, Don't worry, we'll send people over. Thank you. The Wind Clan is eternally grateful for the kindness of the Golden Crow Clan. At the same time, the Light Clan, Sacred Heavens Clan, Serene Cloud Sect, and even the Z Mansion went over to invite them to attack Lin Xian. The people of the Serene Cloud Sect rejected them. The previous incident had caused their sect master to be severely injured. They didn't want to participate in anything now. The people of the Light Clan and Sacred Heavens Clan frowned. Was Lin Xian really so arrogant? They didn't think so. The leader of the Light Clan asked, "What happened? Why did Lin Xian attack the Wind Clan?" What? The elder of the Wind Clan hesitated. He couldn't say that they wanted to suppress Lin Xian and steal his treasures. Seeing this, the people of the Light Clan understood. He said, "It seems that things aren't that simple. If that's the case, we can't help." Sigh. The elder of the Wind Clan sighed and turned to leave. Although the Sacred Heavens Clan was suspicious, the leader of the Sacred Heavens Clan had joined forces with the Wind Clan to attack the Netherworld Hierarch. Therefore, they decided to take a look. Soon, the great sage of the Golden Crow Clan and Sacred Heavens Clan arrived. When the people of the Wind Clan saw this, they were so excited that they were about to cry. The leader of the Wind Clan exclaimed, "Friend, you came at the right time. Quick, help me suppress them. This brat is too arrogant." After the great sage of the Golden Crow Clan arrived, they stared at Lin Xian with murderous intent. Die. They charged over. The people beside Lin Xian shouted coldly. The Supreme Elder of the Eternal Life Hall and the Dragon's experts attacked and forced the great sage of the Golden Crow Clan to retreat. Damn it! Why were there people of the dragons? They were shocked. At this moment, the starry sky beasts in the sky shone down tens of thousands of rays of light, which made their scalps go numb. This time, there were even more people than when they attacked the Purple Mansion. When the patriarch of the saintly race arrived and saw this scene, he said, "Everyone listen to me. This seems to be a misunderstanding. From the looks of it, they didn't intend to attack directly, but were here to mediate. There was no misunderstanding. Just kill them directly." The Wind Clan's clan leader came over and said with gritted teeth. On the other side, Lin Xian waved his hand. Everyone stopped and looked at the newcomers with cold expressions. Lin Xian looked to the front and frowned slightly. "Golden Crow race, you dare to come over? You are courting death. I will send you all to hell together." At the same time, he looked at the people from the Saint Heavens Clan. "Saint Heavens Clan, do you want to be my enemy too? Why is young Master Lin attacking the Wind Clan?" The patriarch of the saintly race asked. If the other party attacked without any reason, they would have to make a move no matter what, because their Saint Heavens Clan could be the next Wind Clan. When Lin Xian heard this, he laughed. "Didn't the Wind Clan tell you the reason why they invited you? Alright, I will tell you. The Wind Clan's clan leader tricked me and suppressed me. 6 great sage wanted to take my soul and steal my 9 sons' inheritance. Don't you think I should take revenge?" What? The people from the Saint Heavens Clan were shocked. The great sage sucked in a cold breath. The patriarch of the Saint Heavens Clan's face darkened. He knew that there was a problem, but he didn't expect it to be so serious. It was no wonder that Lin Xian would lead people to attack the Wind Clan. On the other side, the great sage of the Golden Crow race's eyes flickered. They looked at the Wind Clan. The Wind Clan's clan leader said, "Don't listen to his nonsense. This lad is too arrogant. Let's suppress him together." However, the patriarch of the Saint Heavens Clan shook his head and sighed. "Brother Feng, we can't do this." The Wind Clan's clan leader's face changed. The Golden Crow race's clan leader also said, "Are you afraid of him?" The Saint Heavens Clan's clan leader said, 6 great sage besieging a young man has already violated the rules we set together. I have no reason to take action. However, seeing that my clan has been on good terms with the Wind Clan for many years, I can provide you with some help. But if you want us to attack Lin Xian directly, we won't." The Saint Heavens Clan drew a clear line. Lin Xian nodded. "Very good." Then he looked at the Golden Crow race's clan leader and sneered. "Why? Are you guys on the Wind Clan's side? Don't blame me. Next, I will attack the Golden Crow race." The Golden Crow race's clan leader's face changed. If that was the case, could the Golden Crow race resist Lin Xian and so many terrifying people? For a moment they hesitated. The Wind Clan's clan leader was in despair. However, at this moment, the elder of the Wind Clan came to the Z mansion and requested for reinforcements. After hearing this, Feng Xiaoqing sighed. He brought the Purple Mansion's clan leader with him to the Wind Clan. At this moment of crisis he descended from the sky. Great, the Purple Mansion's clan leader is here. Seeing Feng Xiaoqing and the Purple Mansion's clan leader, the Wind Clan leader recovered. They hoped that the Purple Mansion would stand on their side. Then there was hope. It was the Purple Mansion's clan leader. The Dragon's clan leader frowned. The Mountain Sea Palace's clan leader also took in a cold breath. The other great sects were also on high alert. Back then so many experts and sects had joined forces to attack, but the Purple Mansion's clan leader could not do anything. They could only injure the Purple Mansion's clan leader. If it wasn't for the Purple Mansion's clan leader breaking the seal, their losses would have been even more severe. Now that the Purple Mansion's clan leader was here, the situation was complicated. Young man, don't go too far. Feng Xiaoqing looked at Lin Xian and said coldly, You have already killed many Wind Clan experts. You can stop now. You want me to stop with just one sentence? How laughable. Then I'll suppress you, torture you, and steal your inheritance. Then I'll apologize to you. Is that okay? If you agree, I'll do that to you right now. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Feng Xiaoqing's face sank. What do you want? Lin Xian sneered. It's very simple. Those who attacked me before have to die, including the Wind Clan leader. Feng Xiaoqing's face changed when he heard that. If the Wind Clan leader was killed, wouldn't the Wind Clan leader become a joke? Why are you afraid of losing face and suffering heavy losses? Then, when you were on top of me, did you think about the consequences? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Come on, Purple Mansion. Do you think you can represent the Purple Mansion? At most, we'll just go to another place. Have the Heavenly Court ever been afraid of you? Lin Xian snorted coldly. The Heaven-Devouring Jar shone brightly. Lin Xian had the Heaven-Devouring Jar, and he had joined forces with He Shan. So these people had long thought of him as someone from the Heavenly Court. Since that was the case, there was no need for him to hide it. Chapter 47-41. Since that was the case, there was nothing left to say. Young Master Feng roared. Let's do it. He walked out with the people from the Purple Mansion. On the other side, the people from the Golden Crow race took a deep breath. They said that they could do it, but they had to give them a share of the 9 sons' inheritance after suppressing him. Damn it! The leader of the Wind race clenched his teeth. But at this moment, they really needed each other's strength. The people from the Holy Heaven race retreated to the back. They would not participate in the battle. The battle had already erupted. With the addition of the Purple Mansion and the Golden Crow race, the Wind race's strength was extremely strong. The 3 legendary saint weapons were released. Unparalleled radiance rushed over. It was terrifying to the extreme. Kill. Lin Xian roared. He took out the Great Dragon Sword Soul and released a terrifying radiance. Give me strength. He roared. Ruffian Long used the array to activate the spirit veins. With the help of the dragons, Ruffian Long used the power of the 81 deity islands and poured it all into the Great Dragon Sword Soul. Dragon Chi burst out. With the dragon blood provided by the dark red divine dragon and the others, the Great Dragon Sword Soul was extremely strong. With a slash, heaven and earth shattered. It was like the sword of a god. Even though the other party had 3 legendary saint weapons, they were still pushed back. After the slash, Lin Xian's face turned pale. Endless cracks appeared on his arms. Using the Great Dragon Sword Soul was too much for him. His arms were shattered and turned into a bloody mist. Using the immortal indestructible art, his broken arms recovered. Beside him, Dan Feng provided him with a large amount of pills. At the same time, the Wind race's deity islands were destroyed and turned into ashes. All of their energy had been used up. The people from the Wind race were in despair. They were using their own strength to attack them. Damn it! Seal. They must not let them use the spirit veins' energy. Phoenix led the people to seal the spirit veins quickly. The people from the Golden Crow race and the Purple Mansion race were shocked. Was this the legendary Great Dragon Sword? It was too strong. Furthermore, the other party focused on attacking. His attack power was incomparably strong, causing them to vomit blood nonstop. If it wasn't for a legendary saint weapon, no one would have been able to survive this slash. Even the great sage would have been annihilated in body and soul. Damn it! Feng Xiaoqing shouted angrily. To those people from the Z government, they had to use their trump cards. The Purple Palace sect had a lot of methods, although they had to pay a price. Someone with terrifying demonic chi around his body said, "I can build the 9 underworld gate. Everyone, provide me with power." Since the Purple Palace Hall had the 9 nether scripture, it was obvious that someone had already mastered it. The great sage began to cast a spell. A 9 underworld gate appeared behind him, emitting a terrifying aura. The people in the surroundings also provided energy, and the 9 underworld doors opened. A terrifying aura spread out from within. Clearly, an unknown god was about to appear. How terrifying! Legend had it that the 9 underworld's gate was connected to another world. It was terrifying to the extreme. The people from the Longevity Hall were shocked. Lin Xian and the others all frowned. Lin Xian clenched his teeth. He said that he would use the heaven-swallowing jar to block the legendary saint weapon, and then use the great dragon sword to attack them. That way he would be split into 2. Although the great sage could provide him with energy, he was afraid that his body would be seriously injured. At this moment of crisis, 9 cauldrons appeared in the sky, suppressing a part of the world. The 9 underworld gate kept shattering. The great sage coughed up blood, and was sent flying. A loud and clear voice rang out. "Z government, do you think there is no one in the heavenly court?" It was the people from the heavenly court. The people from the Wind Clan felt their scalps go numb. The 9 cauldrons bloomed in the sky, and faintly discernible figures flickered. If the Z government wants to attack, the heavenly court will accompany them to the end. Damn it! Feng Xiaoqing clenched his teeth. The people from the Golden Crow clan also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. They had seen these people's methods before. At this moment, a purple light streaked across the sky from afar, and a scroll appeared in front of Feng Xiaoqing. After Feng Xiaoqing received it, he roared in anger. "What's going on?" The leader of the Wind Clan asked. Feng Xiaoqing clenched his teeth and closed his eyes. He said that the Z government had sent a letter, saying that they did not want us to participate too much. What? The Z government was giving up on them? The expressions of the people from the Wind Clan changed greatly. It shouldn't be. The Wind Clan is willing to stand on the Z government's side. Please, the Z government must support us fully. A great sage beside Feng Xiaoqing said. Of course we want to help you, but the matter of the seal has caused the Z government to suffer heavy losses. We can't mobilize too much power now. It can only be said that your luck is not good this time. Let's do as this kid says. Otherwise, if we really fight, the 81 islands of the Wind Clan will be destroyed. Damn it! No. The great sage of the Wind Clan roared. The leader of the Wind Clan also clenched his teeth. Even without the Z government, I can do it too. Do you think we don't have any trump cards? Go use them. The Wind Clan was an ancient family with tens of thousands of years of history. They definitely had trump cards, but they would not use them unless it was a matter of life and death. The leader of the Wind Clan saw that it was a matter of life and death, so he had to use his trump cards. Endless runes appeared on his body as he used his bloodline power to the extreme. He took out the seal of the Wind Clan. The other 5 great sage also stood in 5 different directions. They formed a formation to communicate with the power of heaven and earth. One of the mountains shone brightly, and the ground cracked open. There were endless divine crystals inside. There were many old men sleeping there. Buzz. At this moment, a saber light slashed across and split the formation in half. The leader of the Wind Clan, and the others trembled and spat out blood. Their faces were pale. Who dared to attack them? In the next moment, they saw a skinny old man who looked like a mummy walk over. The power of wind on his body was extremely terrifying. It was Elder Feng Yi. The leader of the Wind Clan exclaimed. The other members of the Wind Clan also knelt on the ground. Greetings, Patriarch. He was the oldest of the Wind Clan's experts who were still awake. In 30 years, he would be sealed and become their trump card. He would not participate in ordinary battles because it would consume his vitality and life. However, he had made a move at this moment. Elder Feng Yi, why don't you let me use my trump card? The leader of the Wind Clan roared. Elder Feng Yi leaned on his walking stick and snorted coldly. You don't deserve to use your trump card. This time it's all yours. No. Everything I do is for the clan. Alright, there's no need to say anymore. The trump card of the Wind Clan is for the true moment of life and death. It's not for you. Elder Feng Yi's eyes shone with a cold light. He walked over and looked at Lin Xian. I already know what you want from me, and I can fulfill your wish. However, you have to promise me that after these people are dead, you can't bring people to attack the Wind Clan. Sure, but my request is that the 6th great sage, including the leader of the Wind Clan, must die. You don't have any objections, right? Chapter 47-42. Upon hearing this, the people of the Wind Tribe were stunned. Were they really going to let the 6th great sage fall? This was a huge loss for any remote antiquity family. Those were great sage after all. But they had no choice. If the 6th great sage did not die, more people of the Wind Tribe would fall. Elder Feng Yi turned around and looked at the 6 of them. Why? Do you still want to fight back? To what extent do you want to implicate the family? He then looked at the leader of the Wind Tribe and sighed. Do it yourself. You are the leader of a tribe after all. You should die with dignity. I know. The leader of the Wind Tribe had despair in her eyes. For the sake of the family, she had to fall. She looked at the people around her and said, Do it. Let's give our descendants a chance to live. Did we really do it wrong? The faces of the people of the Wind Tribe were filled with despair. Then they started to burn themselves. 6 balls of godly fire bloomed in the sky. They lit up the entire sky. The terrifying aura sent chills down everyone's spine. Eventually, they turned into ashes. Leader. The people of the Wind Tribe knelt on the ground. Blood rained down from the sky. The 6 great sage of the Wind Tribe were gone. Was young Master Lin satisfied? Elder Feng Yi looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said coldly, If there was a next time, it wouldn't be so simple. I will annihilate the entire Wind Clan. Let's go. Those who had attacked him previously, regardless of whether it was a small sage or a powerful leader, were all dead. Now that all of them were dead, his revenge could be considered complete. Therefore he could leave now. Let's go. Turning around, he left with the people of Pill Cauldron Sect and Longevity Hall. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon, and Wu Yuan also left with their people. The group of them disappeared from the Wind Tribe. The people of the Wind Tribe were filled with despair. Elder Feng Yi looked at the Holy Heavens Tribe and Golden Crow Tribe. Thank you for coming. The Wind Tribe will definitely repay you in the future. Then, he looked at the people of the Purple Mansion. Thank you too. If there is anything you need in the future, please let me know. Feng Xiaoqing sighed when he saw this. It seemed that he wasn't the only one who had entered the Z government. In the future, the Wind Clan would also stand on the Z government's side. Phoenix stood on top of a divine island, and was completely stunned. The Wind Clan had lost 7 great sage immortals, including the clan leader, because of a single young man. What kind of loss was this? Damn it, he couldn't accept it. He gritted his teeth, but there was nothing he could do. After this, the Wind Clan's strength would be greatly reduced. They would have to recuperate in the future. Furthermore, they would never dare to provoke Lin Xian again. Following that, the Holy Heavens race, Golden Crow race, and Violet Mansion race left one after another. News of this matter quickly spread. When everyone knew the result, they were all stunned. No way, the clan leader of the Wind Clan had fallen. Apart from that, 6 other great sage had fallen as well. More than a dozen of the Wind Clan's divine islands had been destroyed. Heavens, this Lin Wudi is really too heaven-defying. Is there no one who can control him anymore? However, the truth was also spread. Some people said that the Wind Clan deserved it. It was said that the clan leader of the Wind Clan had personally led 6 great sage immortals to take Lin Xian's soul. They even wanted to obtain the 9 sons' inheritance. Lin Xian was a passive counterattack. So there was such a thing. It seemed that the Wind clan was really unlucky. This time, they had really shot themselves in the foot. It seemed that they would never dare to touch Lin Xian again in the future. Countless families were shocked. Although Lin Xian was full of treasures, the price to pay for provoking him was too high. Lin Xian had caused another storm in Taiqing Ancient City. At this moment, everyone was in awe of him. Those ancient families and great sects would not dare to touch him easily. On the other side, Lin Xian and the rest did not leave. They were hiding in the void, as if they were waiting for something. Countless flames soared into the sky in front of them, forming one golden crow after another. These people were the powerhouses of the Golden Crow clan who had left the Wind clan. At this moment, they were rushing back to their clan. Then, in the next moment, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Countless terrifying auras sealed the surroundings. Who is it? The powerhouses of the Golden Crow clan roared. I've said it before. If you dare to touch me, I'll make you regret it. Since you're going to help the Wind clan, then go to hell and meet up with the clan leader of the Wind clan. Lin Xian walked out and said coldly, Damn brat, it's you? Run. The great sage of the Golden Crow clan turned green. They did not expect the other party to intercept them halfway. Damn it, the great sage had far more people than them. On the other side, they were no match for them at all. Run. The great sage fled in all directions, but how could they escape? In this battle, the powerhouses of the Golden Crow clan who had rushed over to help all died. Their souls were destroyed, but their bodies turned into delicious barbecued meat. They were taken away. Not long after, news came from Taiqing Ancient City. Several great sage of the Golden Crow clan, and a group of powerhouses had also died. No one knew who had done it. Countless people were shocked when they heard the news. They had already guessed that it was Lin Xian who had done it, but there was no evidence. After the Golden Crow clan learned about it, they were about to go crazy. However, they could only go crazy with anger and did not dare to attack. The current Lin Xian was really powerful to the extreme. He could suppress the ancient families. If they wanted to take revenge, they could only find an opportunity in the future. Lin Xian and the others returned to Pill Cauldron Sect. A banquet was held. Yi Wudao was waiting at Pill Cauldron Sect. When he saw Lin Xian, he said, It's great that you're fine. Lin Xian walked over and said, It's all thanks to you this time. You saved my life. If you need anything in the future, just tell me. I definitely won't frown. We're brothers. This little help is nothing. Yi Wudao smiled. Yes, that's right. Good brother, let's have a drink. Lin Xian laughed and pulled Yi Wudao to drink. The powerhouses of Mountain Sea Palace, Gu Family, Longevity Hall, Fire God Palace, and other sects did not leave. They drank and chatted together. Lin Xian thanked them one by one. This time it was all thanks to these people. Otherwise he would really be in danger. The dark red divine dragon, the toad, and Whitey were all gathered together, drinking happily. As for their food, it was naturally just killed. The corpses of the great sage of the Golden Crow clan were like mountains and contained endless energy. Not only was it delicious, but it could also improve their strength. After this meal, everyone's body shone brilliantly as if they had become immortals. Everyone gathered for half a month before the sects said goodbye one by one. The Hall of Eternal Life, the Fire God Palace, and the Gu family brought some experts back to Mount Eternal. Lin Xian promised them that if he had time in the future, he would go to Mount Eternal and help them pick immortal herbs. The powerhouses of the three sects were very grateful. On the other side, Lin Xian also met Elder Wu Yuan. The Mountain Sea Palace's help also played a big role. Elder Wu Yuan smiled. You're a member of the Mountain Sea Palace. Naturally, I have to help you. The disciples of the Mountain Sea Palace are not to be bullied by anyone. Little guy, I think very highly of you. Elder Wu Yuan also thought highly of Lin Xian. He was a young genius who could become a supreme existence in the future. He might even enter the Emperor realm. Chapter 47-43. Palace Lord Wu Yuan invited Lin Xian back to the Mountain Sea Palace. Lin Xian was wondering if he should go or not. Anyway, he had already caused 2 huge storms here. The Wind Clan and Zifu Clan probably wanted to kill him. He wouldn't give them a chance. He was ready to go. At this moment, the dark red dragon came over and said, "I'll go too. Kid, you have to go back to the dragons with me." Black Sea Dragons, then we can be considered neighbors. Palace Lord Wu Yuan smiled. Indeed, the Mountain Sea Palace relied on the mountains and the Black Sea on the other side. Okay, let's go together. Lin Xian nodded. Then he looked at Yi Wudao and asked, "Wudao, where are you going next?" Yi Wudao said, "I came out to cultivate. Now that I've seen the geniuses of Taiqing Ancient City, I'm going to another city. Holy Abyss Ancient City. This city was stronger than Taiqing Ancient City. There were more geniuses here. Brother Lin, come over after you're done." Holy Abyss Ancient City? Lin Xian took a deep breath. Okay, I'll go. Then Yi Wudao left. He went to Holy Abyss Ancient City alone. Lin Xian said goodbye to the people of Danding School and returned to the Mountain Sea Palace with the Dark Red Dragon, the Toad, Elder Ruochen, Palace Lord Wu Yuan and the others. Damfeng waved her hand and said, "Lin Xian, I'll also go to Holy Abyss Ancient City. We'll meet again then." "Let's go." Palace Lord Wu Yuan waved his hand, and the space beast covered them and they disappeared. The great sage was very fast, and he didn't have to worry about other people's attacks. Lin Xian asked, "Ruffian Dragon, why do you want me to go back to the dragons?" The Dark Red Dragon said, "Apart from not seeing you for a long time, there's something I need your help with. It's a long story. I'll tell you later." Lin Xian nodded and closed his eyes to cultivate immortality and indestructibility. They didn't speak along the way. They returned to Shanghai City and arrived at the Mountain Sea Palace. Greetings to the Palace Master. When the people of the Mountain Sea Palace saw Elder Wu Yuan return, they respectfully bowed. It was that Lin Xian. Had he also returned with the Hall Master? Countless people looked at Lin Xian. When they looked at the dark red divine dragon, they were shocked. Some of the demon beasts they had subdued started to roar anxiously. "Hall Master, who is this?" Many elders walked up and asked. Palace Master Wu Yuan said, "Let me introduce you. This is the young master of the Black Sea Dragons. He can be considered our neighbor." The young masters of the dragons and the Mountain Sea Palace's elders were all shocked. This was an absolutely shocking status. Furthermore, their bloodline was definitely heaven-defying. It was no wonder that the demonic beasts they had subdued were so terrified. This was the suppression of the dragon's bloodline. The Mountain Sea Palace held a welcoming banquet for Lin Xian and the Crimson Dragon. After Xiao Shiyu received the news, she rushed over as well. When she saw Lin Xian, her eyes turned red. "Why didn't you come to see me for so long? Did you forget about me?" Lin Xian said with a smile. "How could that be? Didn't I come back?" The toad at the side revealed a strange expression. "Not bad, kid. Another one is here. Go away." Lin Xian kicked the toad away. After that, Lin Xian accompanied Xiao Shiyu in the Mountain Sea Palace for a few days. Finally, he went to the Xiao clan. Then he went to the Desolate clan to pay his respects to the Xiao clan's patriarch, Xiao Mu. Then he left the Mountain Sea Palace and headed to the Black Sea with the dark red divine dragon and the toad. The entire buried Emperor Star was divided into 4 seas and 8 desolates. The Black Sea was one of them, and it could be said to be the largest one. The Black Sea was boundless, and there were too many demon beasts hidden in it. The Black Sea Dragons. They were one of them, and they were equivalent to supreme overlords. The group of people shuttled through the bottom of the sea, with the experts of the dragon race opening the way. A dragon that was tens of thousands of meters long in its true form roared. The surrounding sea demons all prostrated themselves, and no one dared to go forward. "All right, ruffian dragon, you can speak now, right?" The dark red divine dragon said that he invited you here because he wanted to borrow something from you. "Kid, how many eyes of time are left?" "There are 4 left." "What's wrong?" Lin Xian sighed. "You can't be thinking of using the eyes of time, right? Although it's very miraculous, it's probably useless at our realm. We can only blame ourselves for killing that serpent of time back then. Otherwise, if he had grown to the sage realm, the eyes of time would have been more useful to us." Lin Xian had used the eyes of time to recover before, and the effects were very good. However, at that time he was only a king. He wasn't even a sage. Now he had already reached the sage realm. The difference between the two of them was too great. The eyes of time weren't that useful anymore. Otherwise, he would have taken them out to Xiajuyo long ago. However, Xiajuyo's realm surpassed that of the great sage. The eyes of time probably wouldn't be of any use. Unless he reached the level of the great sage, the eyes of time wouldn't work. However, those things no longer existed in the ancient era. I know that too. However, there's still a trace of hope. At the very least, we have to know who the murderer is. Following that, the dark red divine dragon explained in detail. After hearing it, Lin Xian understood. The dark red divine dragon was a member of the divine dragon race. His status was very special and very rare. Although he wasn't a member of the nest of 10,000 dragons or the monarch race, his status was extraordinary among the dragon race. The dark red divine dragon's father had come from the Black Sea and gone to other worlds. Now that the dark red divine dragon had come to the buried Emperor Star, he had been sensed by the dragons of the Black Sea. When they sensed the divine dragon's bloodline, they immediately brought the dark red divine dragon back. Furthermore, they conferred him the title of Young Master of the Dragons. All of this was originally very good. However, the current dragons were surging with undercurrents. It was all because of the nest of 10,000 dragons. The nest of 10,000 dragons was an existence that had produced great emperors among the dragons. Especially since the other party had left behind an emperor who had awakened a few years ago. Now he had grown to an unimaginable level. The goal of this emperor was definitely to become the dragon emperor and unify the dragons of the myriad worlds. The Black Sea dragons were very strong. Naturally, they were targeted by the nest of 10,000 dragons. Originally, the people of the Black Sea dragon tribe were not afraid because they had a top genius, who was the dark red divine dragon's young master, Long Guang. He was very terrifying. However, he had fallen in Holy Abyss ancient city. This caused the Black Sea dragons to go crazy. They sent countless experts to investigate, but in the end, they still didn't know who had done it. They had suspected a few people, but there was no evidence. This matter was left unsettled. However, the Black Sea dragons had never given up. After the dark red divine dragon arrived and learned of this matter, he thought of Lin Xian. He wanted to see if he could use the Eye of Time. At the very least, he would be able to obtain some clues. Chapter 47-44. The group traveled very quickly. 10 days later, they slowed down. Endless rays of light appeared in front of them, and a dragon palace appeared at the bottom of the sea. What a terrifying aura! Lin Xian was surprised. He could feel that the great dragon sword soul in his body had become excited, and was letting out dragon roars. We're here. Let's go. Treat this place as your own home. Don't stand on ceremony with me. The dark red dragon waved his hand. Lin Xian took a deep breath and walked over. Whitey also jumped out and said, "Ruffian dragon, do you have any delicious food?" The dark red dragon said, "I have enough top-grade spirit fruits." "That's good." Whitey's big eyes narrowed into crescents. The guards at the front walked over. "Greetings, young master." They were extremely respectful. "Open the array." The dark red dragon waved his hand and said. The guards formed hand seals and opened the array. The group walked in. When Lin Xian walked over, they were extremely curious. Why did the young master invite a human over? And they seemed to be on good terms? They carefully sensed. Then, when Lin Xian walked past them, their bodies trembled. A hint of fear appeared in their eyes. Damn it, what's going on? There's an aura on him that's suppressing their dragon blood. That's impossible. Only the young master can do that. The young master's bloodline is very terrifying. How can this human have such a terrifying aura of the path of dragon? They did not know that it was the power of the great dragon sword soul. However, they became extremely respectful to Lin Xian. This was the respect for a powerhouse. Dragons lived in the dragon palace. Apart from that, some of the guards were powerhouses of the dragons, and some were other sea demons such as shrimp soldiers, crab generals, and all kinds of fish. These people were all very powerful, and they had submitted to the dragons for generations. The surrounding buildings were even more peculiar. They had a unique style of the sea. The dark red dragon shuttled all the way. After entering, he transformed into his true form and moved very quickly. At the same time he shouted, "Old men, come out! I've brought the human back." In the distance, some old figures walked out of the palaces and pavilions in the sea. The aura of the path of dragon on these people was very terrifying. Clearly, they were on the level of the great sage. With a single step, they arrived beside him. After greeting the young master, they first bowed to the dark red dragon, and then looked at Lin Xian. "This must be the friend you were talking about." After greeting the seniors, Lin Xian didn't dare to be arrogant. These were all great sage experts of the dragons. He bowed to the elders. "Young man, you don't have to be so courteous. If you are a friend of the young master, then you are a friend of the dragons of the Black Sea." The great sage looked at Lin Xian and nodded slightly. Suddenly, they froze, their expressions shocked. From Lin Xian's body, they could sense an extremely powerful aura of the Tao of Dragon. What was going on? They were stunned. "You're one of the dragons?" Lin Xian shook his head. Another dragon elder asked, "Then, have you consumed dragon blood before? Or have you cultivated the theurgy of dragons?" Lin Xian shook his head again. The dark red dragon said, "Stop guessing. He's the successor of the great dragon." "Kid, these people are very reliable." Since the dark red dragon said so, Lin Xian didn't hide it. He waved his hand, and the great dragon's sword circled around him. A terrifying dragon chi swept across the 9 heavens. The surrounding elders of the dragons of the Black Sea were shocked. The legendary great dragon sword was actually obtained by a human? No wonder it had such an aura. This pressure wasn't weaker than the young master's bloodline. The elders were extremely shocked. After Lin Xian retracted it, he said, "Senior, do you want to borrow my Eye of Time?" As he spoke, he waved his hand and took out an Eye of Time from his storage ring. A mysterious power bloomed. When the surrounding people sensed it, they sucked in a breath of cold air. The power of time had always been mysterious. Lin Xian sighed. "To tell you the truth, I obtained this Eye of Time many years ago. At that time, the Serpent of Time that I killed was only at the king level, so the effect of the Eye of Time was limited. I hope that the elders can be mentally prepared." A great sage sighed. "This matter has happened for several years, and we have long accepted it. Long Guang's soul was destroyed, and not even a remnant soul was left. There was no hope of resurrection. We just want to find clues to the murderer and avenge Long Guang. Then there's no time to lose. Let's start. Little friend, this way please." The group walked in. The other dragon generals were guarding outside. After entering a great hall, the supreme elders of the dragons formed hand seals and tore open a crack. Then a strange space appeared. "This is..." Lin Xian was surprised. "What a terrifying method." The great elder said that this is the place where Long Guang died. "We sealed it and brought it back." The space wasn't big, with a radius of 10,000 miles. It had the aura of the dragons. Obviously, the experts of the dragon clan had died here. After Lin Xian walked in, the dark red divine dragon and the elders of the dragons also walked in. They took out the Eye of Time, activated a spell, and placed it in the void. Immediately, the surrounding sky and earth spun, and time flowed backward. A mysterious aura filled the air. Gradually, an image appeared between heaven and earth. The originally shattered blood mist gradually condensed, forming a shadow. It was very blurry, but the elders of the dragons cried out in surprise. The great elder's pupils constricted. It was Long Guang. It was really useful. They were shocked. Time seemed to have flowed backward. The scenes of what happened to Long Guang appeared again, but the voice was a little blurry. Lin Xian was also surprised. He discovered that Long Guang had been tricked here. Then several experts appeared in the surroundings and sealed the entire world. Then a figure descended. Those people attacked together and killed Long Guang. Damn it! Who was it? The powerhouses of the dragons gritted their teeth and roared. Their eyes were red. The dark red divine dragon also frowned. "I can't see clearly." "Kid, can you see clearly?" Lin Xian said. "I'll give it a try." He took out another Eye of Time and activated it with all his might. Immediately, the power of time flowed out. Lin Xian said, I can't make everyone appear, but I can make one of them appear. The great elder pointed at a figure opposite Long Guang and said, It should be him. He should be the leader. Try your best to restore his appearance. Lin Xian said, I got it. He controlled the power of the two eyes of time and enveloped that figure. That figure gradually became clear, and everything else became blurry. It was a handsome man with outstanding facial features. Dragon energy surrounded his body. It could crush the heavens. He was like the supreme dragon emperor, so powerful that people looked up to him. Who was this person? What a terrifying bloodline of the dragons. Lin Xian was shocked. Even though it was just a scene of time, he still felt a chill down his spine. Chapter 47-45. Who was this person? Lin Xian was surprised. Did the dragons know him? The great elder gritted his teeth. He was Long Wu from the nest of 10,000 dragons. He was also the son of the dragon emperor. Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air when he heard this. The son of the great emperor? Was he an emperor? It was too unbelievable. No wonder he was shocked by this scene. The other elders also roared. It was indeed the nest of 10,000 dragons. Damn it, they would definitely not let them off. The power of the Eye of Time disappeared and the two eyes shattered. The scene slowly dissipated, but they already knew who the culprit was. A few elders of the dragons rushed over and roared at the sky, commanding the dragons. At this moment, the dragons of the Black Sea were alarmed. What caused such a change? One figure after another rushed over. They all asked, was a strong enemy coming? Those elders gritted their teeth. At this moment, they wanted to gather the 10,000 dragons and kill the nest of 10,000 dragons. However, the dark red divine dragon flew over and said, Old men, I advise you to calm down. The nest of 10,000 dragons is stronger than us. They have an extreme Tao Emperor weapon, and are more terrifying than us. If you act rashly, it is very likely that the dragons of the Black Sea will be destroyed. Is this what you want to see? As the dark red divine dragon's voice sounded, the eyes of those elders gradually returned to normal. Damn it! An elder stood out and said, If there's nothing else, you can all go back. The surrounding dragons left. A few core elders gritted their teeth. Were they not going to take revenge? Revenge? Of course they had to take revenge. But now was not the time for a decisive battle. Since I am the young master of the Black Sea Dragons, this grudge is also mine. I will go to Saint Distant Ancient City and kill that guy. No, the young master is too dangerous. The great elder shook his head. They had already lost a young master. If another one died, the loss would be too great. After all, there were too few bloodlines like the dark red divine dragon. Don't worry, I am not alone. This kid will go with me. Especially since this kid has the great dragon sword soul. He can be considered half a dragon. If the two of us join forces, I don't believe that we can't take him down. Young master, it's not that I don't trust you, but the gap between us is just too big. He was an imperial prince with an extraordinary bloodline. He was a saint when he was born, and now he was already standing at the peak of the Saint King realm. He would soon become a great sage. Moreover, it was said that his battle prowess was no weaker than the great sages. Furthermore, he had already ascended to the 90th level of the Sacred Gulf Tower, and would soon be crowned the champion. Such a character was simply undefeatable. We don't stand a chance in a one-on-one battle, and if you want to attack him, that's even more impossible. He has even more experts of the Tao of Dragon by his side. Unless we use the power of our entire clan, we won't stand a chance. Was that guy really that terrifying? The dark red dragon gasped. Lin Xian was also surprised. Although there were many words in it, he did not understand what they meant. However, Prince Guang's identity was different. He knew that this Long Wu was extremely powerful. Most likely he was even more talented than Leaf Dao Denier, Light and the others. Moreover, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had been revived from the true spirit world. It had only been a few years, and the other party was already close to becoming the great sage. This speed far surpassed theirs. One had to know that Lin Xian's cultivation speed was already heaven-defying. How many inheritance treasures did he have? Yet he still couldn't compare to the prince. The prince's identity was too terrifying. The dark red dragon took a deep breath. Although that guy is terrifying, I won't give up so easily. Besides, even if you really want to attack the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty, you have to be sufficiently prepared. I'll go to Holy Abyss City first and meet that guy to buy time for you. It won't be too late to make a move when you're fully prepared. Lin Xian also said. I'll go too. I haven't seen the real prince yet. One day, I'll fight him. Indeed, if he wanted to become a great emperor, Lin Xian would definitely clash with him on his emperor's road. Besides, the other party was the Dark Red Dragon's enemy, which made him his enemy. The Great Elder and the others still disagreed. The Dark Red Dragon argued for a long time before they agreed. You can go to Holy Abyss City, but you have to be careful. Don't rashly attack him. Give us some time. We'll definitely not let him off. Next, Lin Xian and the others went back to rest. After the Dark Red Dragon arrived, Lin Xian asked, "How much do you know about that guy? Tell me." The Dark Red Dragon said, "I don't know either. I only know that he has only been awake for a few years, but he's already so terrifying. His bloodline power is probably beyond our imagination, or even beyond our understanding. If you meet him, you have to be careful. Who knows, he might snatch your great dragon sword soul." Lin Xian said, "I'll fight him sooner or later. No matter if we have grudges or not, we'll meet in the battle for the Emperor's Road." However, he frowned and said, "I don't understand some of the things you said before. What does Holy Abyss Tower mean? What does it mean to be crowned? What does it mean to be crowned? Let me tell you." The Dark Red Dragon sat down and drank spiritual wine while eating barbecued meat. Then he told Lin Xian. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard that. Holy Abyss Ancient City was also an ancient city. In fact, it was even more terrifying than Taiching Ancient City. There were even more ancient families and peerless sections. There was also a divine object in Holy Abyss Ancient City called the Holy Abyss Tower. It had been passed down since ancient times. No one knew who created it, but it was very mysterious. It was said that Holy Abyss Ancient City was named after it. This was somewhat similar to Qiankuan Ancient City. Qiankuan Ancient City was related to the Qiankuan Emperor, and Holy Abyss Ancient City was related to the Holy Abyss Tower. Lin Xian guessed that it was very likely to be related to the ancient emperors. The Holy Abyss Tower was a trial and cultivation place. After entering, one would undergo trials and challenges. If one succeeded, they would obtain heaven-defying opportunities to increase their cultivation strength. There were a total of 99 floors in the Holy Abyss Tower. The difficulty increased with each floor. Even a top expert would probably only be able to climb a few dozen floors. Once one completed all 99 floors, they would be crowned and become crowned. This was a supreme honor. In history, anyone who passed through 99 floors and became crowned crowns could be said to be the top geniuses of the current era. In the future, they would also become a heaven-defying expert, sweeping through a region and being recorded in history. This was equivalent to the supreme honor and confirmation of one's talent. After hearing this, the Toad was also surprised. Was there a double crown champion? A triple crown champion? The Dark Red Dragon nodded. Don't tell me there is. What was going on? Lin Xian was also surprised. Was a triple crown champion successfully reaching the top 3 times? The Dark Red Dragon nodded. That's right, it was successfully reaching the top 3 times. However, it wasn't the 3 times that you imagined. After successfully reaching the top and becoming a triple crown champion for the first time, entering again would be 10 times more difficult than before. If one could still reach the top like this, it would be a double crown champion. After entering the double crown champion, the difficulty would increase by 20 times. Reaching the top again would be a triple crown champion. Chapter 47-46. Then, has anyone ever broken through to the first crown? How many crowns were there? In history, there were indeed people who broke through to the first crown, double crown, or even triple crown. Of course, the highest was the last great emperor from 40,000 years ago, Emperor Qing. He was the 10-crown king. 10-crown king. Lin Xian gasped. Didn't that mean that the other party had entered 10 times and successfully reached the top? The last time was 100 times more difficult. No wonder this person could become a great emperor. Yes, it was heaven-defying. After him, there hadn't been a great emperor for 30,000 years. What level had Martial Dragon reached? Lin Xian asked. The dark red dragon thought for a moment and said. He had checked before and it was said that he had already reached the 90th floor. It was only a matter of time before he became the first crown king. And from the looks of it, he should be able to reach it soon. As for how many crowns he could become in the end, it was hard to say. The toad exclaimed. Such a person should be unrivaled in the world. However, the dark red dragon shook his head. No, he had an opponent. There was even someone whose current record was better than his. What? That was impossible. Someone had surpassed the emperor. The toad was surprised. Even Lin Xian was curious. Who was it? Dark North. He had already reached the 95th floor. His identity was also extraordinary. He was Kuan Pingzi. He was the emperor's son of the great emperor of the Kuan Peng race. Another emperor's son. Lin Xian was shocked. Holy Abyss Ancient City was too extraordinary. One had to know that the strongest in Taiqing Ancient City was only the ancient desolate body. But there were 2 emperors in Holy Abyss Ancient City. This Kuan Pengzi was very strong, and he had awakened earlier than Martial Dragon, so he was stronger now. Everyone guessed that he might be the first to be crowned, and become the first king in this generation. Speaking of which, we suspected 2 people of Long Guang's death. One was Kuan Pengzi Dark North. The other was the Dragon Prince, Martial Dragon. Because only these 2 people could threaten and kill Long Guang. What was Long Guang's strength before? Lin Xian asked. His cultivation was at the Saint King realm, and his battle record had already reached the 93rd floor of the Saint Origin Tower. If he didn't die, he would also become a champion. So powerful. Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air. No wonder those elders were so angry. He was indeed a top-notch genius. It was a pity that he had fallen. Kid, are you interested in going to the Holy Abyss Ancient City? When the time comes, we'll see just how magical this sacred Abyss Tower is. Lin Xian said. Of course he was interested. His eyes shone with a cold light. What kind of scene would it be to compete with the Crown Prince? These people are all in different sections. I wonder which sect you would like to join when the time comes. A sect? Aren't they all from the desolate ancient emperor clan? Lin Xian was shocked. Within the Holy Abyss Ancient City, there were 3 ancient orthodoxies that had been passed down for a very long time. They were the Tao sect, Heaven sect, and Earth sect. The Dragon Prince was from the Path sect. Kuan Pingzi had joined the Sky sect. After entering these 3 ancient orthodoxies, one would be able to obtain powerful resources. Moreover, these 3 orthodoxies had close ties with the desolate ancient families and the great sections. There were many experts in these orthodoxies. They were all disciples of the great sects and the desolate ancient families. They were all geniuses among geniuses. In fact, they could even create their own sects and forces. Among them, the force that the Dragon Prince had created in the Path sect was the Dragon Palace. Lin Xian's eyes lit up when he heard that. How could there be such a thing? He thought about it and said, since our target is the Dragon Prince, we should join the Path sect. Alright, that's what I think too. The dark red divine dragon nodded and said. After resting for half a month, we'll set off. They were very close to the Path sect's recruitment test this time. Every year, there would be a successful test in the 3 orthodoxies. Those who passed would be able to enter and cultivate as disciples of the orthodoxies. Those who failed would have to wait a year, and could only participate again in the 3rd year. Ordinary geniuses were not qualified to enter at all. Only the top geniuses and experts could enter the 3 orthodoxies. Since the decision had been made, Lin Xian and the other 2 began to cultivate at the bottom of the sea. On this day, the Great Elder found the dark red divine dragon and Lin Xian and said, since you want to join the Path sect, we'll give you an opportunity to increase your strength. Especially your Tao of Dragons. Young master, you might be able to improve your bloodline power. Then the Great Elder looked at Lin Xian and said, Young friend, although you're a human, you still have the dragon sword soul. And it seems that you've merged with the dragon sword soul. This means that you have the dragon soul. You're half a dragon. This opportunity will be beneficial to you. Thank you. Lin Xian was overjoyed. The opportunity that the Black Sea dragons mentioned was definitely not bad. The Great Elder said, Young friend, you don't have to thank us. We should be the ones thanking you. If it weren't for you, we would never have known who the murderer was. This time, take it as us repaying our young friend's kindness. The toad also wanted to go, but he wasn't a dragon at all and didn't have the Tao of Dragon's aura, so he couldn't go at all. After that, he and Little White stayed here. The dragon tribe also provided them with many heavenly treasures. The two of them ate to their heart's content, and forgot about the matter of fortuitous opportunities. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon followed the Great Elder and walked forward. Soon, the surrounding figures became fewer and fewer. This seemed to be a forbidden area where no one could come. The dark red divine dragon said, Damn old man, you're not taking us to that place, are you? Now, the dark red divine dragon had already guessed where they were going. The Great Elder said, That's right. This time, that place is opened. You have 10 days inside. Whether you can get anything after 10 days depends on your luck. What is this place? Lin Xian was curious. The dark red divine dragon said, Dragon Tomb. The Dragon Tomb was the place where the dragons of the Black Sea were buried for generations. This was a forbidden area. Under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be opened. Only extremely terrifying Dragon Clan powerhouses could be buried here after their deaths. This was also a supreme honor. At this moment, Lin Xian and the toad entered the Dragon Tomb. In front of them, there were millions of dragons carved into a stone tablet standing there. It was like the hand of a god guarding the Dragon Tomb. The aura on it was really too strong. The Great Elder held the Dragon Court walking stick in his hand to block this aura. The surrounding array formation flickered. The Great Elder stood in front and said, I'm going to open the Dragon Tomb. You can temper your Tao of Dragon's aura, and even strengthen your Tao of Dragon's bloodline or physique. It's up to you what you choose. As he spoke, the Dragon Thunder staff in his hand bloomed with light. Endless array formations condensed and swept towards the million dragon steel in front of them. The million dragon steel bloomed with light, and the door of the Dragon Tomb slowly opened. Chapter 47:47. The Dragon Tomb is open. You can enter now. Hearing this, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon took a deep breath and quickly walked in. The aura inside was very terrifying. There were dragon shadows in front, and the door to the Dragon Tomb was closed. The light dimmed. Kid, let's each go in a direction. I'll go this way. The dark red dragon waved and walked to one side. Lin Xian walked to the other side. The dragon roar in front of him sounded, and in the next moment, a golden light flashed. A golden dragon appeared between heaven and earth. Its body was tens of thousands of miles long, as if it was a real dragon. However, Lin Xian knew that it was just an illusion, because these dragons were all dead. In addition to the golden dragon, there was also a purple dragon, a dragon with 8 arms, and a sword dragon surrounded by sword chi. There were all kinds of dragons here. Lin Xian summoned the Great Dragon Sword Soul, and merged with him. The Great Dragon Sword Soul formed a dragon shadow outside him. At the same time, he circulated the dragon's breathing technique. He felt the terrifying killing intent around him disappear. Although it was very stressful, it wouldn't take his life. He began to feel the aura of the dragon. Lin Xian took a deep breath. At this moment, he forgot that he was a human. It was as if he had become a dragon. He saw his body grow bigger, turning into 1,000 meters long. His body bloomed with bright golden light. He formed a golden dragon, baring his fangs and brandishing his claws. This feeling was truly too wondrous. The Great Dragon Sword Soul also let out a series of roars. Lin Xian walked, passing by dragon shadows. The deeper he went, the more terrifying the aura of the dragon became. There was a Tyrannosaurus Rex in front of him, standing between heaven and earth. Just its aura made Lin Xian unable to move forward. Lin Xian changed direction and continued to walk. However, there was a sword dragon in front of him that swept across heaven and earth. The terrifying sword chi made his hair stand on end. These Dragon Clan powerhouses must have been unparalleled heroes who swept through the world in the past. Now that he was dead, he still had such power. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged and started to absorb the Tao of Dragon Aura. Gradually, he realized that his fusion with the Great Dragon Sword Soul had become even more perfect. It was as if the Great Dragon Sword Soul had become a part of his soul. This feeling could reduce the consumption of his Great Dragon Sword Soul. At the same time, he made another shocking discovery, and that was his bloodline. Lin Xian himself didn't have any amazing bloodline. However, after growing to this point, coupled with the fact that he cultivated the super physique, the nine-yang divine body, therefore his bloodline had long since contained boundless power. A single drop of golden saint blood could crush mountains and rivers. This type of bloodline was an exceptional bloodline, and it could already be passed down. However, this was not Lin Xian's ultimate bloodline. At this moment in the Dragon Tomb, his bloodline had undergone some changes. In addition to the power of the Nine Suns' divine blood, there was also the blood of dragons condensing inside. One had to know that the bloodline of dragons was unique to dragons. It was passed down from generation to generation. It was basically impossible for others to condense the bloodline of dragons. No matter how much dragon blood one swallowed, this bloodline couldn't be passed down. But now Lin Xian's situation was different. He seemed to have really condensed the bloodline of dragons. No one would believe that a human could condense the bloodline of dragons. However, Lin Xian's situation was different. He had the Great Dragon Sword Soul, and had even fused with it. In addition, there were so many terrifying auras here. So it wasn't impossible for such a bloodline to be born. Moreover, it seemed to be more than one type of dragon bloodline. It seemed to be the bloodline of 10,000 dragons. Lin Xian's body bloomed with endless light. The Great Dragon Sword Soul fused with him, and let out a dragon's roar. Lin Xian's dragon's breathing technique caused him to completely transform into a god at this moment. The light on his body bloomed, and the illusions of the dragons around him all flew into his body and fused with it. On the other side, the dark red divine dragon also underwent a bloodline evolution. He was a member of the Divine Dragon Clan. Endless dragon aura surrounded him, causing his divine dragon bloodline to improve further. 10 days passed quickly. A low voice came from the dragon's tomb, and then it slowly opened. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon felt a force of rejection. They knew that they couldn't stay any longer. Lin Xian looked at the dragons around him and bowed deeply, thanking the dragons for giving him strength. The dragons of the Black Sea will always be my friends. In the future, if I'm lucky enough to reach the Emperor Realm, I can protect the dragons of the Black Sea and be the overlords for 10,000 years. Roar! 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 As Lin Xian's voice fell, the illusions of the dragons around him let out a loud roar. The 9 heavens and earth shook. Outside, the first elder and the others were waiting nervously. Suddenly, a dragon's roar came from the dragon's tomb, causing their blood to boil. What happened inside? Could there be an accident? They were extremely worried. After all, there was a human who went in this time. But fortunately, they soon saw Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon coming out safely. These people heaved a sigh of relief. The dragon's tomb in front of them slowly closed, and once again fell into silence and deep sleep. What happened before? The second elder asked. The third elder also asked. How was it? Did the young master's strength increase? The dark red divine dragon said. He sensed it. Speaking. He activated the power of his bloodline, and the dragon aura on his body swept across the 9 heavens. There were illusions of divine dragons circling between heaven and earth. Great, he had indeed become stronger. Now his bloodline was no longer weaker than Long Guang's. They were really happy. Now the only difference between the dark red divine dragon and Long Guang was the time of cultivation, and the difference in cultivation level. In other words, if the dark red divine dragon had enough time, he would definitely be able to reach Long Guang's level in the future. He could even grow infinitely. Then, They looked at Lin Xian with anticipation in their eyes. They wondered if this human had made any breakthroughs. The sound from before was caused by me because I promised those dragons that in the future, I would reach the Emperor realm. I would also let the Black Sea dragons stand at the peak of the universe. This was a promise. After all, the dragon's tomb was a forbidden area for dragons. Other than the previous patriarchs and young patriarchs who could enter, no one else could. If one wanted to enter, they could only do so after death. Now Lin Xian could actually enter as a human. This was simply a peerless gift from the dragons. The people of the dragons naturally knew that Lin Xian's strength and talent were unparalleled. They were also betting on his future. It was just that they didn't know if he could become a great emperor. However, when a 9-young divine body grew up, it could sweep through everything. However, when they saw the scene displayed by Lin Xian, these dragons were really stunned. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.